Sabonis down the lane with authority.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
How are we doing on this Tuesday, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you more than you know. We got a lot to get to today, too. We have a busy schedule. I'll dive into that coming up in just a minute. I know it's kind of weird because there's not a great deal of local stuff going on. I mean, we're in a time where it is basically preparation to start getting down to business of talking about the Colts camp. You know, I've lobbed a lot of things out there, given a lot of opinions, too. But then we're starting to clock. The clock is officially ticking now to get set for what is going to be Colts camp. And then those storylines will prevail. And then we'll find out a little bit more of what we think about this team. We're able to, I guess, more insightfully form a more accurate opinion. And as I mentioned, too, it is going to be Carson Wentz did this and Carson Wentz did that on every single throw, so be prepared for it. But we're kind of in that holding pattern right now. It's kind of weird this year, too, right? Because you got that. And then you got the NBA draft coming up. And then you have NBA free agency. Like, we're going to be bombarded with local stuff here in just a little over a week. I mean, we'll be weaving and bobbing into, well, this is what Carson Wentz looked like. And, hey, our secondary is going to look like what coming up this season to what the Colts are going to do at 13. And then what the Pacers are going to do at 13, and then what the Pacers are going to end up doing as far as free agency is concerned. So, yeah, it is kind of a weird spot, but it's, to me, we have more of what I like to describe as a bridged gap this time of year than ever, by virtue of the scheduling that has gone down and the fact that Game 6 of the NBA Finals, I mean, we may see a close to the NBA season coming up later on tonight, will we? We may see it come to a conclusion. And again, Kyle mentioned yesterday, right? You say 65,000 in Deer Valley? 65,000 outside of the arena in Milwaukee. Fiserv Arena in Milwaukee. That's going to be incredible. You know how incredible that is to view? I mean, just of the 18 in and the 20-some out, it has been incredible. But this tonight, I mean, there's no way, shape, or form that the Bucs lose. You can't lose when you have all that fan backing, right? There's no way you're going to go back to Game 7 in Phoenix. Probably end up will. But there shouldn't be any way. So, yeah, you got that interesting aspect tonight at the NBA Finals. I think normally this time of year we're kind of leaning a little bit, and I do like watching it. I like watching it. The TBT is like playing for a $1 million pickup game, and I dig it because the officials swallow their whistles. There's nobody blowing whistles very much. I mean, guys are getting hammered and hacked, and the other part about it is, have you guys noticed with this, I mean, there is certainly gesturing and some whining and crying, I think with good reason often, too, to the officiating, but they don't, like, lay on the floor or dog it back on the other end very often. Man, I do. I like it. I kind of like the situation where, and I certainly like the pickup game aspect of it, you know that, but I like the situation where there's no tomorrow if you lose. I mean, you're going for it right here, and you're going for it right now. So we have been watching that. I mentioned you got NBA Finals game number 6 coming up later on tonight in a closeout attempt for the Milwaukee Bucks, and a lot of local stuff that we got into yesterday. With both the Pacers and the Colts, because, again, all of this is just going to be unloaded on you in the next week plus. I mean, you're going to get it rapid fire. You're going to get that rapid fire. You're going to get Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James going into Canton and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're going to relive basically every moment with them both, and there is no doubt that Peyton Manning's memories around here are much more vivid than the ones of Edgerrin, but Edgerrin was incredibly important to all of this. it is just really cool that he is going in. But the Manning stuff will, and I said this before, and there are some out there that go, you know, you make too much out of it. I mean, look, he lost one Super Bowl here, won another. They, you know, you always go to the card. They should have won more. Everybody always should win more. Everybody. I mean, literally, the only time when you can say a team shouldn't have won more, the 1976 Hoosiers. They should have won more. Well, wait a minute, they couldn't have. They couldn't win more. That's the only time. You always say somebody's going to win more. But again, I will not allow anybody in my group ever to suggest that the Manning effect around here is overstated, because you out yourself as being a considerable dumbass, and don't do that. And at least if you do, just kind of be like the joking one. Like, there's a difference between, like, the outright dumbass is much different than the jokingly dumbass, all right? There are two different parts here. The jokingly form you can live with and hang with, and that's okay. The literal one, you can't. You can't hang with that. But that is it, and that is that, and you can't go too far. It's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. You know what? You can't push this thing too far. There's no such thing as too far. With that in mind, it's a similar analogy. You can't push it too far, because it all is, and the effect did have 100% plus accuracy in what transpired here in the game of football. And to me, living it and living through it all. I mean, living through the early days, the euphoria of getting a team, you know, yeah, I'm a Bears fan, for goodness sake, back then. And you get here, and it's excitement, and it's a nice little cute thing to come up here, and you got dudes with their wives in the stands, and they bring their knitting, and the guys have penny loafers on, and it takes you 5 minutes to get from Speedway to the Dome because nobody tailgated for nothing. I mean, literally, you could watch almost half of the NFL Today or the NFL on NBC pregame show and still get down here and get your hair blown walking in the door in time for kickoff. And all that is, it became a nice little cute thing to the real deal. And most of it had to do with 18. So I can't wait for that date. I have reached out. We'll see, you know, what happens with either one. I'm assuming neither will be doing a great deal of conversation much past what was that Zoom meeting of last week. And then, you know, we talked about yesterday, you get the Manning brothers on that megacast on ESPN, and I think that is great. I think the only people out there that probably don't think that is great would be the guys that are actually doing Monday Night Football right now. Is that Steve Levy and Brian Greasy? And I thought they did a really good job a year ago, because all anybody ever wants to do is complain about that. I mean, complain about the people stink, you know, the games are blah, blah. Everybody wants to complain about that, but I thought last year was fine. I mean, it's a football game. It's on a Monday night, so what? I know it's not like what it was with Monday Night Football on ABC. It is tough to compare the now on a lot of things to how much we enjoyed it back in the day. Believe me, I go through that all the time on many levels. I'm thinking, man, back in the day, it was so much better than right now. You know, whether it's sports or enjoyment or just what you're doing on a daily basis or a daily routine, and nothing's ever going to compare to that. But, man, Steve Levy and Brian Greasy, I thought, did a really good job. I think we also finally started to learn a little bit about how the game matters more than anything else. I mean, if the game is really good, if the matchups turn out to be good, then your broadcast quality more than likely turns out to be good. Who was the guy the year prior, though? Testator. I mean, somebody call a timeout, and he's screaming about a timeout. He was a little over the top, but it's all good. All good. So I wouldn't be happy, I guess, if I'm Levy and Greasy to have to go opposite of the megacast for at least 10 weeks of the season with the Manning brothers breaking down a game. I, for one, am kind of curious. What weekend is it going to be? Or I should say, what Monday night game is it going to be when they play the Ravens? What week is that?
It's the 5th week of the season. It was like October 11th, I want to say.
Now, they're taking some weeks off.
They're only doing 10 of the 17
don't tell me that's going to be a
games.
week they're going to take off.
They
right?
haven't
That's
announced what games they're doing yet.
Gotcha.
All we know is they are doing the first 3 games.
Yeah, see, Cold Beer says, how many of your listeners remember when the games were blacked out? I gave, and this was quick too, because, man, in TV, you got to be hustling, right? Like Hagen's standing there doing a live shot, and I'm talking to my underwear in my truck or in the Acadia in my driveway doing, on Sunday night, a taped interview on Fox 59 with Hagen, as I normally do. And he asked me the differences in what the Manning effect actually had. And I had to give him everything in about 90 seconds, which I did one hell of a job of. I felt really confident that I gave about every single aspect in that 90-second window. And one of them was the fact that constantly the Colts were the rumor at the very early stages of the Manning era until he really established himself as one of the, if not the best in the NFL. It was a constant, whether it was Sam Farmer or the LA Times or whomever, with the, all right, LA is really serious about an NFL team. And the one on top of the list would be the Colts. And I shared that yesterday, if you guys were listening, with Mike Duraco, who covers the AFC South, but exclusively does that work for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars have been, over the years, that team that has constantly been in the news about the possibility of moving out of Jacksonville. And that's why I asked him yesterday, all right, so what does all of this do for them? You know, what does Urban Meyer do? What does Trevor Lawrence do? I mean, you're considering, I guess, with a coach and a quarterback, transformational, not just for a team that basically had, one interesting season. What was that, 17 outside of the past 10 plus, I'm assuming here. But really one interesting season going to the AFC title game. On the field and off the field, transformational. And basically he talked about yesterday how, you don't hear much of those stories. Like there was a point in time 2-3 years ago where you constantly heard, hey, the NFL is going to put a team in London. They want that market. They want ownership, and they want everybody to fall in love with that. And while I loved going over there, and it was great, it is really the experience is what was great. And I've told you this before. My hotel room had a transparent glass box crapper, which was glorious. And that might have been the best part about it, because sure as hell, the Colts and the Jaguars was not the best part about it. I mean, going to Wembley, being at Wembley was cool. Having a glass box transparent crapper was really cool. Being a block from Piccadilly and Trafalgar Square was cool, but the game was far from cool. I can't imagine having to do that on a weekly basis. Let's say you're in London, you got to go back to the U.S. I don't know how in the world that is ever going to work. And it seems like that has all quieted down, but you also have to have success in Jacksonville, as we talked to Duraco about yesterday. And that was the question. Is this going to be we look as with the Colts in mind, and that's where I make the comparison, transformational. It certainly was when they drafted Peyton Manning. It was when Jim Irsay went out and secured Bill Polian. Those were transformational moments. And then hiring Tony Dungy to kind of make that complete, help them get to what most of you know fully and completely as a Colts era. Most of you don't remember the crap that we had to go through once this team got here for the first time in 1984, when it was nice and it was cute and it was fun to go. And you could get tickets anywhere. Yeah, I don't have tickets to the game. I'm leaving from Speedway. It kicks off in 45 minutes. Yeah, I just get them on the way. It's pretty easy. Or, to make sure that you clear a blackout hurdle. The NFL blackout hurdle, Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock. You got to sell 10,000 tickets before that deadline. And, the Colts are having drive-through ticket buying situations outside of the dome. It is just completely different. And that's what I was talking about with being transformational, both on the field and off the field. And in talking with Duraco yesterday about things in the AFC South and certainly the team he covers in Jacksonville, that is the hope that they have with their quarterback and their head coach. And there very much could be some similarities there. Now, I mean, it also could end up like Andrew Luck here. I mean, you get a dude knocked around as much as he was. You know, back then we called it extending the play, and it was cool. Right? You know, yeah, he extended the play. I remember coming back from Alaska, and I was reading one of those magazines, football magazines, and it was like written twice in quotations. Man, there's nobody better than Andrew Luck extending the play. And there is nobody absolutely more wide-ass open to taking incredible hits and punishment than Andrew Luck. That's what it should have said. But transformational it could be, and it could go either way. Duraco yesterday, by the way, 1075thefan.com if you want to go there and listen to the conversation, because it was more than just that. I mean, it was comparisons with the Colts going through that in the early Manning years, and then obviously what to expect coming up within the AFC South in 2021. And he was a big fan of Julio Jones, and so am I. I may hide from this, though, if he gets injured. I may have to hide from it. Think I'll hide from that take at some point? Will he be injured? And I'll have to scurry and go hide somewhere from this take? Or what does that meme we see all the time where Homer Simpson kind of disappears in the bush? Will I have to disappear in the bush? The Julio Jones take? I don't know, man. I just got this thing about wide receivers, and I can't help it. I can't help it. Hopefully one of these days I'm talking about this group here as I do everybody else's. I covet everybody else's, and I just kind of hope with this group. Like, I have a great deal of hope with Michael Pittman Jr. There's no question about it. And you know how I feel about Naheem coming out of the backfield. Now, that's stuff we've actually seen. You got hope in Paris Campbell. Because, man, you talk about an incredible weapon if my man could stay healthy for more than a couple of minutes. I mean, we often talk about it, but we don't really talk about it. I mean, just the difference that he could be and he could make for this offense, just being available. Yeah, and believe me, James, man, I like Clarence Verdun. I liked, he was nicknamed CNN because he was always talking. That was one of the more original nicknames of our time. You know, now because we're worn out on nicknames and they're rarely, if ever, good ones, he'd just be known as Seaver or something like that. CV or Seaver or JMV. And Dwayne Bickett, too. Dwayne Bickett, man. Dwayne Bickett, a couple of different times. Remember the old sports bar? They had two, right? They had one with the boxing ring inside Union Station, which was classic back in the day. The dance floor was inside a boxing ring. And then they had the other one that was further up on Meridian. And that was a Bickett hangout. I'll tell you what, back in the day. And I know that we're all down on the downtown and what's happening down here with the closings of places. You know, it's interesting, too. You see the closing of places down here. But then, I mean, you see what just continues to happen on Mass Ave or what continues to go down in Fountain Square. You just wish that you were able to get back. I mean, that was the early stages of the rebirth of downtown, and Union Station was fantastic. Fantastic. You had a food court, you had a go-kart track, you had video games everywhere. If I wanted to go and I wanted to get some ironed-on shirt and have "I'm with Stupid" on it, or put my girlfriend's name. I didn't have a girlfriend. I just make up one. You could do all that and then some at Union Station. Yeah, early stage. Man, transformational it is. Sometimes that description is overused, but that is certainly what the Manning era brought to football here. Certainly the Colts, And that's easy to figure out, but just football in general here from top to bottom. And then, with the football growth here, you saw the growth in downtown even more so. Then you end up getting a Super Bowl, which absolutely was just stratospherically crazy to ever think about. And then not only did you get the Super Bowl here because of that transformation, but you did it as well as anybody ever. And you're probably going to get the big hose and never get it back again. But you did it as well as anybody ever. That's what I mean by transformational. Those are some comparisons with, what you're going to look at down in certainly Jacksonville with where they have been with the Jaguars compared to where they want to be with their head coach and quarterback in the future. We can hit any of that if you guys like at 239-1070. Email address is JMV at 1070thefan.com. Rakestraw is going to join us bottom of the hour. Colts post-game show host. The Professor John Clayton is locked in coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. I dig that. 5 o'clock hour, too, fresh off a vacation from the Athletic. Stephen Holder will join us. I think I saw a picture on Twitter where he and family members were at Legoland in New York. And if there's something I have done with my kid, and I do everything, and I don't want to hear anybody give me any crap about it, but I always have felt good about one certain Christmas when my wife and her mom and the kids went to Orlando, and they went to Disney World, and they went to Legoland down there, and I had to stay back up here because of Colts requirements, right? I sidestepped that, and I've always been pretty happy with it. Hey, listen, I like Lego stuff to look at's great. But to buy and to have and then to put together, I mean, you have to be damn near an architect anymore to put that crap together. But I did sidestep that. Boy, I know you guys were quick to get on me about the demise in the past 4 of my Cincinnati Reds, and I watched it again last night. I don't know what was worse, the crappy bullpen or the crappy manager. Which was worse? What in this world? Last night, you guys ever watch the old school episodes of Benny Hill? And they play the see if you can look this up and you can play it in the background over the top of me here. Called Yakety Sax. And I was a big fan of Benny Hill back in the day. RTV6 would run that late night. Every night there was like one, maybe 1982, 83, where it'd be on about midnight on RTV6, and I watched it during summer break every single night. Right after Barney Miller. I wasn't a big fan of Barney Miller either, so it was kind of tough. But this was the Reds last night. This was the Reds with their manager and the Reds with their bullpen. I mean, all of it. Do you guys remember Benny Hill's like running around in fast motion with that little bald guy and the chicks are always chasing him and hitting him with umbrellas? It's never not funny. It's always funny. It's like Richard Pryor is always funny when he drops an F-bomb, I think, right? Benny Hill's always funny when they're in fast motion and he's slapping that little bald guy on top of the head and being chased by everybody. This was the Reds manager and the Reds bullpen last night. It's not all I have to say about that, but it probably should be. I mean, you could have pinch hit Castellanos. Listen, if you guys watch it, Indy Reds fans watched this last night, and I know my point of contention was going to be Castellanos, right? And they used him late, and I know they used him because it was an emergency, quote unquote, an emergency situation. You know how many other emergency situations with absolute outs coming to the plate when you can win a game that I saw? I mean, there are different emergency situations. There are emergency situations when you look at the bench and you just got nobody left. There are also emergency situations when you go, this guy can't hit a lick, and we'd love for you to win a game. Can you figure this out for us? The thing last night, if you watched it, Castellanos got up there. They didn't have everybody else. He was sitting up there. I think he had, I know Tucker was on second. I think it was second, first and second. Castellanos comes up and almost goes oppo and hits it out of the park. There is no way, Reds fans. David Bell wanted to see that thing leave the park. No way. I was talking a little bit earlier today to another Reds fan, and I go, I bet he was going, man, stay in the park, stay in the park, stay in the park. Yeah, it was high comedy. High comedy. The Reds and, I should say, the Cubs and the Cardinals last night, too. The White Sox and Twins. Dive into a little baseball. Rakestraw, bottom of the hour. The Professor John Clayton at 4. Stephen Holder in the 5 o'clock hour. Here's what I have for you. Kings of Leon tickets. Got a 4-pack as well. I'll explain what entails that. The Kings of Leon at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center and Fish. I have 2 4-packs to see Fish. Whoa. You guys I'm not the biggest Fish dude in the world. But I know a lot of you out there dig Fish. Or as they say where I'm from in southern Indiana, Fish. Fish. I'd love to go see Fish. Yeah, I got all that for you and more, and you got to listen to win. All right. Well, load you up at 239-1070. Email address is jmv@1070thefan.com. At JMV1070, we are on Twitter as well. And I know a lot of you are going, man, why don't you answer my email or my tweet regarding the AM signal and that story that was hatched yesterday. If you could tell, I got really tired of getting emails and tweets about it. Believe me, I'm with you. I love it. I have been around here forever, and I love that signal. I understand the history of that signal, and I don't care if it's a Dixie cup and string. I want to be able to get my voice and this show to you, this station to you. But I can tell you, I have zero to do with it. None. I mean, I have said, listen, you need if you want to hang that thing up, hang it in my backyard. I got 150 acres in Owen County. I got 40 with my mom down in GC. We can hang it in a really tall tree somewhere. I don't care. But because I haven't answered you and I guess supported you with any decent information is because I really don't have any decent information. And that's well above my head. But just know this. I love it. You know how I'm a lover of radio at all levels, and I certainly love AM radio. I love the crackle and the static, and certainly that signal is historic for this market. And does it make me sad? Yes, in a lot of ways. But I wish I was the answer man for it, but I'm probably a really bad person to ask because I'm going to end up in somebody's office. And that's also something I don't want to do. But that is why yesterday that I kind of left it where it was. But I love it. I love it now. I know technology. I loved it then when I didn't know technology. But it is history, and I know it is in large part. A lot of you listened through that, and if I had answers for you, I'd give you answers. But I can tell you this, I'm going to be here always, regardless. So hopefully you can find means and measures to be able to listen to us somehow in some way. Rakestraw is going to join us coming up on the other side next.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Right now, save up to $150 off Big O brand tires with your Big O credit card. And don't forget to take advantage of Pay Nothing Today financing options. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Exercise your freedom at Penske Chevrolet. Your freedom to drive a great car, truck, or SUV. Your freedom of colors, options, and accessories. And your freedom of how you'd like to pay. Penske Chevy at 96 at Keystone Avenue has extended their 0% financing offer for 6 years, but they're also giving you rebates if you'd rather purchase with cash. Check this out. Choose the Equinox or the Blazer and get 0% for 72 months or a $2,500 rebate. Prefer the Traverse? Get 0% for 72 months or a $1,500 rebate. And Jake Smith, the general manager, and Brett Rosie, the area VP, included my favorite of the Chevy products, the Silverado. The 1500 4x4 Crew Cab comes with a $2,000 rebate. Penske Chevrolet is still your lease return headquarters, too. Chevy, Buick, and GMC vehicles can be turned in at 96th and Keystone Avenue. And don't forget, Jason Brett will buy your used car on site. So exercise your freedom today and get your best deal now at Penske Chevrolet. Online at PenskeChevy.com. At Penske Chevy, find new roads. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Offer good through 7/31/21.
Oh, while we're in lawn and garden, I was thinking I should pick up one of those little things for watering my plants.
A hose?
No, the things that look like teapots, but for plants. You tip it over and it goes blah, 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 blah.
You're good at describing words you've forgotten.
Like those things that give the plants a shower, that you fill up.
A watering can?
Yes, a watering can. I knew that.
We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
Here's what's happening with the Fan.
Think you have the best sports trivia knowledge? Listen to The Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe from 7 to 10 a.m. and call into the pop quiz for your chance at a Jiffy Lube prize pack. JMV's Backyard Broadcast are back, and the Fan has partnered up with Connecticut, New Belgium Brewing Company, Ford's Garage, and Evan Williams. Visit 1075thefan.com for your chance to host a future broadcast this summer.
For more info, click on 1075thefan.com.
To some, it's a game of chance, but for you, it's a game of choice. Hollywood, Ameristar, and Barstool Sportsbook let you choose how you want to play. Bet on any game, anytime, anywhere. Download the Barstool Sportsbook app, register with promo code Barstool Indiana, and get a 2-for-1 new player bonus with up to $1,000 bonus cash if you lose your first bet. Plus, at the Barstool Sportsbook at Hollywood or Ameristar, and get $50 in comps and $50 off room rates. Choose your game. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT or text INGAMB to 53342 for help.
Summer happens at Speedway because everything you need for summer happens at Speedway. Like drinks. Drinks happen. The freshly brewed drink, the splashed over ice drink, the wake you up drink, the cool you off drink, the make your brain hurt for a minute drink. All poured however you want them, whenever you want them, all summer long. So on every hot day, you have something cold to sip. Speedway, summer happens here. And now, get any size fountain or Speedy Freeze for just 89 cents. Excludes maximum.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Kelly Watson, business manager of Labor's Local 1112. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, open your eyes, pay attention.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
It's time for the Crest Point Real Estate Market Minute.
It's Terry Stacy, and with us is Patrick Keller, managing broker and owner of Crest Point Real Estate, Indy's real estate experts. Patrick, what are the average prices of homes right now here in central Indiana?
Yeah, for all the counties, let's start with Marion County. Right now, the average sales price is around $220,000. With Hendricks County, we're at $290,000. In Boone County, we're at $365,000. Hamilton County's at the top at $380,000. Johnson County is at $261,000. Morgan County, $217,000. And to finish out with Hancock County, average price is $260,000. All of these counties usually sell in about 10 days or less, still showing that the market is still moving forward quickly.
This has been the Crest Point Real Estate Market Minute. Indy's real estate experts get your home value estimate in 60 seconds at sellwithpatrick.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Hey, you gonna stare all day or you gonna buy something? I'm gonna stare all day.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
This date, the late, great Chris Cornell's birthday, July the 20th, 1964. I played this on Saturday night in honor of this lead vocal greatness. What was that? 4 years ago? I was actually, he died in Detroit while Soundgarden was on tour, and I saw them over at the Lawn. I want to say maybe a week prior to that. I think Indy was one of their final shows, and I have seen them twice. This is Temple of the Dog, by the way, which is not Soundgarden, but a lot of the players. This date in history. John Clayton, the professor, top of the hour. Stephen Holder's going to check into the 5 o'clock hour via the Indy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Greg Rakestraw joins us. The more and more information of COVID situations with the Olympics, is that piece by piece taking away interest from your standpoint of this?
Not taking away interest, but simply adding concern as to what we're actually going to be able to see. As in, if the Olympics start on Friday, I'll be more than happy to watch them. I just worry at some point in time they say, hey, we're gonna pause and try to hang on for a couple of days, or just scrap this entirely. I hope we don't get there. So if they're going to happen, I'm going to watch them. But obviously, I think we should all be concerned at this point.
I mean, what do you think the odds are right now, as far as a pause or at least something of that nature taking place over this 2-week period?
I think because of the fact that you already have athletes there, and there is so much money tied up in television, and whether you want to claim this or not, it is a business. They will try every method they can to have an Olympic Games if they possibly can.
So Greg Rakestraw with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I mentioned this too. Got a couple of things going. Actually, got a lot of things that are about ready to go on, including the Pacers and the draft and the NBA and the Pacers and free agency. But obviously, our focus is going to be on Westfield for the start of Colts camp. You're the post-game show host. You have that. And then you've got a couple of all-timers going in to the Pro Football Hall of Fame coming up in August in Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James. And I was talking about this yesterday, Manning being transformational, for so many different things outside of the realm of football around here. And I had Mike DiRocco from ESPN.com on this show yesterday, and we kind of, I thought, we're even in a comparison here to that is the type of transformation with coach and quarterback that Jacksonville is looking for beginning this year. Cool. And that was an outstanding question. And Greg's phone stinks. There it was. It was a good question, though. I'll be damned that wasn't a good question. So it just fade out. I forgot to ask him where we are or where he is. Is it going to come back? Is he answering the question and think he's still on right now? Do you want to answer it in place of him? Do you want me to answer it? We'll see if we can't get him back on. Hey, listen, I'll tell you what. If the phone is going to crap out, then I can just move on. It's no big deal. We can catch him when it's a little bit better. Nothing. All right. Sorry about that, Greg. There he is right there calling. If it doesn't get much better, he might be in a bad spot. I don't want to put him in a bad situation where he's fighting this. Yeah, you can let me know. It sounds like he's certainly on the road going someplace. And as you know, at times your cell phones and such don't come in that well. Thus far, you deem it necessary to find other means. I don't know if Greg stopped at a payphone or anything right now, but he rejoins us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I didn't ask you where you were. Are you struggling getting signal right now?
You know exactly. You don't know where I'm at, but you'll know the area very well when I tell you where I'm at. I spent a day in the Wabash Valley, brother. I am making my way back on I-70. I just passed that, like the old coal mine and like the fish reserve area as I'm getting out of town. So hopefully the fact that I see 3 cell signals in line of sight in terms of actual towers means I'm good for the next few minutes.
Well, I tell you what, that's okay. I won't put a lot of pressure on you here. We'll make it quick. But I did want you to answer this question because you've been around here through basically it all with the Colts. And I'm curious, do you kind of view Jacksonville, and I asked this of somebody that covers the Jags, what they're looking for as far as transformation for that franchise in football, both on and off the field, is it in the neighborhood of what the Colts ended up getting when they had Polian, Manning, and Dungy together?
We will find out. I guess I looked at it more of just from a quarterback standpoint. I heard part of your conversation with Mike DiRocco yesterday, and I immediately made the jump from what Trevor Lawrence can do as a rookie to what Andrew Luck did as a rookie, and the fact that nobody thought that team was going to be overly competitive, but they went 11-5 and were a playoff team in his first year. So I guess I didn't think of it as big picture dating all the way back to 1998 when it was more Napoleon Manning, then 4 years later, Dungy Napoleon Manning. But if you're looking at this from the glasses half full perspective, you clearly had that opportunity in Jacksonville, knowing you've got both Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, it's just it was a thought of comparison, and I thought it was interesting because you got Manning obviously going into the Hall of Fame coming up in August, and then the start of something that they believe to be very special, and for them it should be, because much like the Colts, in the early stages of the Manning era, they were consistently mentioned as a team that could be moved out to Southern California or relocated somewhere, and over the past years it's been the same thing that we have seen from a Jacksonville standpoint. So I tried to make the comparison with both, I guess.
And I was thinking about that long term, like how long has it been since, if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, you felt you've had the guy at quarterback? And clearly, they've never had anybody in the neighborhood of Peyton Manning to be a quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're now 26, 27-year history. But if you look back at, like, say, the first 15 years of Jacksonville Jaguars football, they had pretty good quarterback play. Whether it was Mark Brunell, David Garrard, or Byron Leftwich, you felt pretty good about who your quarterback was in Jacksonville, and they were competitive immediately. So for a franchise that we look at and go, man, those guys have stunk more than they've been good, if you look back at the first kind of 10 to 15 years of the Jacksonville Jaguars, pretty good football team.
So Greg Rakestraw with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. And yeah, I know you follow college basketball a great deal, so I feel comfortable in asking you this. The Pacers are bringing in a prospect workout group coming up tomorrow. And of the notable names, Corey Kispert of Gonzaga, Cam Thomas of LSU, Zaire Williams of Stanford, and a guy, McKinley Wright, that can put it in the basket for Colorado, among two others in this group as well. You think Kispert, for example, even though he struggled in that game, that final against Baylor, does his game translate well to the NBA level?
You know Gonzaga better than I do. I am absolutely freaked out by what I saw against Baylor.
Yeah.
Thinking that his NBA-level athleticism and defensive-level play, and he did not do well. I would have been much higher on his stock on April the 4th than I was after April the 5th. Doesn't mean I don't think he can be an NBA player, but again, I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that workout, because what I saw in this town at the beginning of April scares me in terms of drafting him at 13.
I agree with you on that, and to me, I felt the same way with how Franz Wagner went out with Michigan. I mean, it felt like the moment kind of swallowed him up a bit, too. And this doesn't mean that either one will not have prosperous careers at the highest level in the NBA. But to me, at least for both, and where the Pacers are drafting at 13, and how much of a must, if you stick there, that you have to land this one. You have to be rotationally good at the very least with this pick if you decide to stay there at 13. I mean, there are some reasons to wave a couple of red flags, I think, out of both those players at the end of their respective runs in the tournament.
I have no problem throwing two cliches at you, and I'll explain why here. I have no problem with the safe pick at 13, the guy that you think the floor is the highest for. I also have no problem with the best available player at 13 as well, and that is because, yes, everything you said is right. Because of the recent draft whiffs by the Pacers, most notably T.J. Leaf, to me it is still more important what this team does in terms of the rotation. In other words, are you lining it back up again with the same starting five, with potentially McConnell, McDermott, whatever the case may be, or are you going to move the pieces around? And again, if you move the pieces around, that clearly determines, okay, maybe this is the position we are targeting in terms of the draft with the Pacers. But frankly, if you simply say, all right, at 13, here's the guy that we think will be a 8 to 12-year pro, it'll be a rotation piece for us for that level of time, because we feel we've got 5 starters on the floor right now, I'm okay with that theory. But again, we'll see how that plays out.
It's Greg Rakestraw on his way back from Vigo County on I-70, eastbound and down via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Safe travels getting back here, and we'll do it again soon. And before you know it, you're going to be doing some post-game action. So get ready. There you go. The perfect way to end that with that connection. Yeah, I mentioned too, Kispert, Thomas, Williams, and Wright in tomorrow for the Pacers for a workout. Chris Duarte from Oregon, Sam Hauser of Virginia also coming in here tomorrow. Think Kispert would be worth getting on here and talking it up? Or would that be a major, I think?
Well, considering how much you've been negative about him.
But I'm a big Gonzaga dude.
You're a big Gonzaga dude. You just don't fit. He would fit with the Pacers at 13.
I saw a red flag. Now, I saw the same thing with Wagner, too. I mean, they both went out meekly and in a fashion that to me was unexpected. So I guess you're calling that a bad idea. I understand. I do. I mean, I always will watch because I've been forced to with the Gonzaga thing, but that was tough. I mean, really, it was tough for everybody. Maybe not as much Jalen Suggs as it was everybody else, but it's Kispert and Timmy and the IA. It's tough for them all. Happy 39th birthday to Jeremy Bullard, who is tuned in right now. I appreciate you. Corey Hall says this, hey, JMV, I don't blame Bell for the bullpen. The owner refused to give him bullpen help in the offseason. How many saves does What's-His-Nuts have right now? Iglesias with the Angels. 19, 20? Somewhere in that neighborhood? They got nothing to go to. I mean, even the guys where you felt like they had nowhere to go are injured right now, so you got even a lower level of nowhere to go. But it wasn't a good night for David Bell last night either.
19 saves.
19 saves for Iglesias. Yeah, I mean, and the Reds are going to go on the cheap. Here's what's going to happen. Like last night, and I know you Reds fans don't want to hear it, and I know that Castellanos was called on to hit an emergency situation because there was nobody left. But you're going to have him for what, 3 more weeks? Seriously, the way this thing is going, you're going to have him for 3 more weeks, maybe less than that. It looked like he wanted to go out there and hit, and I swear to you, he was 3-4 feet away from putting that thing in the seats. I don't understand it. JMV, the Reds bullpen really is frustrating. Hembry is solid. Hendricks is awful. Any idea when Antone will be back? I really believe the Reds aren't too far away from being great. Thoughts? By the way, I saw you at FC Sunday. Didn't have the Nads to come up and chat. Next time I'll say, hi, yeah, you got to come up and chat. I would have welcomed the chat because I was watching my daughter get housed in her game up there, and anything would have been better than watching that fiasco. So, yes, I couldn't even cheat on the clock enough to make good sense of that. I tried. I even told the official, I said, I am over here and I am fat fingering this thing like crazy, all right? And it didn't help. My daughter and I had a great ride home. JMV, I've never listened to you on FM until today. You don't sound like you're talking through a red Solo cup anymore. Hey, listen, I'm for 107.5 and 93.5, but and this goes back even before I got here. I have always loved and had an incredible amount of respect for the 1070 AM signal. And I don't care what I'm supposed to say or not supposed to say, but that is just how I feel, and you can't take that away. I do. I have a great deal of love, from people that have entertain me, inform me of the past. That's just the way that it is. That's what happens when you're from around here. If you're not from around here, you wouldn't know. And I don't blame you, but you wouldn't know. But I get what you're saying. I mean, hell yeah, I sound good on FM. You guys listen to me on Saturday night? It sounds like my fellas have dropped and everything on Saturday night when I'm doing FM in there. So, yes, C-Fitch, absolutely. Quick break. We're back with you next.
Things are heating up at Hubler. During the Buys of Summer sales event, they're out to buy more cars than ever before. Visit drivehubler.com.
Summer is here, so kids, tell your parents about the Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
PAI, WeGrowHairIndy.com. You looked in the mirror, you saw that reflection, and you go, hey, man, who's this old dude losing his hair? Ooh, that's me. And you thought, is there something I can do? And then you remember, you listen to me every day from 3 until 6, and I talk about this thing. I talk about this stuff. I talk about these procedures that can regrow your real hair. Nothing fake about it. No Elmer's glue or duct tape or anything like that. Just your real growing hair again. Indeed, I do, and I can help. Darren Anders can at 888-724-5129. It's WeGrowHairIndy.com if you want your real growing hair again, a rebirth of sorts. You can get it with any of those procedures and then some from PAI. All you got to do to get those options of hair regrowth is make that call, 888-724-5129, and WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a no-charge appraisal? It's never asking for a credit card or charging for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan.
No risk on refinancing, but I live for danger.
With our rates at a low 2.25%, refinancing with Golden Oak is anything but risky business. Get started today at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Janet. But since she is so focused on growing her career, we hired an actor to read her story.
At Geico, we really help each other. If anything comes up, we work through it as a group, so we all learn.
As a full-time employee, she can also get paid benefits like medical, dental, vision, and parental leave. She even got a plaque for her desk that says, "I'm kind of a big deal." Yeah, you are, Janet.
Ready to start your career, Indy? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Indy.
Big Red Liquor's month of July. It's hot. You can tell outside, right? Hot prices, hotter prizes, and cold beer is what we're talking about. Big Red Liquors, in fact, giving away 3 big green eggs. You can stop by any Big Red Liquors location, sign up to win. It's absolutely free, but you got to be 21 to enter, and there's no purchase necessary. The Big Green Egg, we all should have one because they're great. The meat smokers, the grills, the versatility they have, and Big Red Liquors are giving away not 1, not 2, but 3 Big Green Eggs over the course of this month. All you got to do is sign up to win. I mean, you're going there anyway because you got to make sure you get your midweek stuff, and then you got to make sure you're set for the weekend. You got 58 Central Indiana locations to serve you, and for more info, it's online, bigredliquors.com today.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio, like where this ad plays. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I, live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Yes, radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
My crusade for the perfect pizza crust has led me here, pining over a backyard wood-fired oven. But how do I bake this build into my budget? Where can I get some solid guidance on my finances? Who can help me understand if I have the dough for this?
A little financial advice. At Regions, we know that's important because your Life Green checking account comes with Green Print.
Financial planning with a banker who will help you create a personal budget and live in the moment. Make your appointment at regions.com/greenprint. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, John for CarX. Oh, CarX with the 13, soon to be 14. That one edition in Brownsburg to serve you, keeping your summer travel road ready. Joe Childers and the gang. AC inspection $19.99, save $140, and you can save that on a set of Continental and or Cooper tires with the purchase of their premium installation. Also, lifetime brakes, $109.99 per axle at CarX. The best for your car, truck, or van. And tell Joe Childers I sent you to your Central Indiana CarX location. To find the one nearest you online, CarX.com today.
The last year's been tough, right? I mean, routines have been messed up. A bunch of us just didn't take good care of ourselves. Franciscan Health gets it. That's why they came up with the Do Good, Feel Good Challenge. It's a 30-day challenge with easy tasks to help you change for the better. Simple things like eating a little better or just moving your body. The Tom Dockage Memorial Golf Outing is part of my Do Good, Feel Good Challenge. Join me for that one July 12th. Make it part of yours, too. Sign up for your 30-day challenge at dogoodfeelgood.org.
Remember when we had to guess at song lyrics? I'm guilty of rocking with the Stones about never leaving my pizza burning. If you sang along with the Dancing Queen, feeling the beat of the tangerine, you might think you're too old to be an organ donor. And you'd be wrong about both. It's tambourine. And there's no age restrictions, no health restrictions to sign up to be an organ donor. Sign up today at donatelifeindiana.org.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Kings of Leon coming up a little bit later on. I got a 4-pack. I got 2 4-packs to see Fish. I'll explain in a moment. Holder, 5 o'clock hour with Professor John Clayton coming up here after 4. I mentioned Holder in the 5 o'clock hour, I should say. But Dave is up next at 239-1070. Hello, Dave.
Hey, JMV. Greetings from the Old Farts Club.
How you doing, Old Farts Club, Dave?
I'm doing good. Hey, I've been listening to the Peyton Manning stuff you've been talking about the last couple of days. Yep. I couldn't agree with you more. On the thought on that, do you think Peyton Manning, Edgerrin, Reggie, and Marvin would all be Hall of Famers without each other?
And listen, again, there's some crowds out there that are going to say you give Manning too much credit, but that's just what I do. I think Manning was essential to a lot of the success that went on around here, for sure. I'm not going to take away that somebody couldn't have been, but he helped a great deal. I think everybody else, certainly offensively, was essential to having Peyton Manning as their quarterback.
I agree on that, too. We had Stokely was our number 3 guy, and I know you're a big wide receiver guy, and he got over 1,000 yards as a number 3 guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was introduced to guys like Crap Thorpe and Devin Aramashadu catching passes, so my man could throw it to anybody.
Hey, real quick, do you have any updates on R. Miller, or are you allowed to say anything?
You know what? We just always think about him. Yeah, I know R's a private dude, but we're thinking about him every moment. And certainly I want him to know that, and he would appreciate you asking, Dave.
Are you doing anything next month at the track for the IMS thing?
That's a hell of a question. I'm not sure. I know I'm going to go out there, but I don't know if there's going to be a crowd involved in it. But I'll have probably a little bit more information before we get closer to it, I guess.
All right, pal. We'll get the Fosters on ice.
Thank you, buddy. Dave, thank you. I love the Fosters on ice. I love it. It is the worst beer ever. But I love it, Dave. Thank you, brother. All right, Ethan, I want to get your call. You hang on. I'll get to you. The Professor John Clayton coming up next, too.
When times are tough, people need more than dependable health insurance. They need dependable help so they can live a better life. That's why the CareSource Life Services Program provides our members personalized coaching to help get them steady jobs, safe housing, and reliable rides. Our members receive stable, healthy Indiana plan benefits, but also the trusted guidance they need from CareSource to gain more independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining health insurance.
Hey there, it's Big Joe, and there's never been a better time to find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Right now, new customers have a chance to win $100 in free bets when they place a $1 moneyline wager on any NBA Finals game. If either team hits a three-pointer in the game, you'll win $100 regardless of your bet's outcome. All you have to do is use my bonus code BIGJOE100 when you make that first bet to take advantage of this offer. Enjoy the exciting end of the basketball season like never before. Sign up now and discover BetMGM's daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use my bonus code BIGJOE100, that's BIGJOE100, to win $100 in free bets if either team hits a three in any NBA Finals game. Bet with confidence at BetMGM. This is a new customer offer. Paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Indiana only. Must be 21 years or older to wager. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Hey, John, Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141. Making sure you're cool and comfortable. I know John and Chris Love, that is job number one for them. They're the best in the business. So if you've recognized maybe your cooling unit's not doing the job that it did a month ago, 317-353-2141. Let John and Chris Love and their staff tune that thing up and find out if maybe there's some deeply rooted issue. And if there is, and you have to make a not-so-subtle change in equipment, they're going to give you the best prices, craftsmanship, and, overall value around. They are the best for a reason. The one and only Love Heating and Air, 317-353-2141 online, love-hvac.com today.
Hi, we're OfferPad, the new way homes are sold. Go to OfferPad.com, tell us about your home, and we'll send you a great cash offer. Or, if that's not your style, we can also list your home with tons of free OfferPad services, free handyman fixes, house cleaning, yard work, and more to get your home show-ready. We can even advance renovation costs to maximize your home's value. Whatever way you want to sell, you're sold with OfferPad. Sell your way today at OfferPad.com. Terms and conditions apply. Real estate brokerage services provided by OfferPad Brokerage LLC. Equal housing opportunity.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-724-9484. That's 800-724-9484. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-724-9484 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Don't lose out on the perfect house. Get pre-approved today with our 5-minute loan approval, thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hello, Greg Bassett with Bassett Services Heating and Air Conditioning, serving Central Indiana since 1978. Visit us at BassettServices.com.
Bassett Services is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, WIBC, HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
It's a battle of divisional contenders as the Brewers host the White Sox. Saturday evening at 6:30 on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Bullish Brent's hanging and banging with you until the 8 o'clock hour. Coming up, we have artists such as Living Color and the Fine Young Cannibals right now. Here's Roxette, The Look, 89.9 WROL.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Hey, Rachel, a little bit earlier. On the route back from the TH, Holder's going to be here in the 5 o'clock hour. Kings of Leon 4-pack. Got 2 4-packs to see Fish. Fish is the 6th of August. Is that right here? No, I'm sorry. The 16th and 17th? They got back-to-back shows, right? And then I believe the 22nd is Kings of Leon. Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center for you. All right. Let's waste a little bit of time. We don't want to do that because we got him ready right now. John Clayton, the professor, via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, so what's going to be the end game of this Aaron Rodgers thing in Green Bay?
Well, I mean, I think that he's going to stay, as Barstool said, with the personal cleaner who cleans his house. He's not going to reach out there. And then I think that, we saw that his golf annual membership was able to be renewed at the nice golf course in Green Bay. But no, in the end, just to be serious about it, I think he's going to go back. I don't know if he's going to be back there for the first day, a week from today. But I now, because I changed my mind, because I was saying all this off season that he was going to be adamant about trying to hold out into the season, trying to force a trade. But when you start to look at the monetary implications and the fact he still loves the game of football, I still think at this stage he's going to at least go in at some point. I know that A.J. Hawk, the former Packer linebacker, came out and said he was with him golfing last week, and he got the indication that he was not going to leave the Packers. He wasn't saying he was going to be there on time. And then over the weekend, Mercedes Lewis came out and said he thinks he's going to be there for the start of camp. So I think there's not going to be a trade. I think he'll play there. And you think about the monetary implications, because if he misses the season, he's going to lose $35.3 million because he's going to have to lose his salary, pay back the proration of different things from which is $11.5 million, pay back a roster bonus of $6.8, and of course remember he's got $23 million in endorsements. So I just think at this stage, they offered him the chance to make a little bit more money. He turned it down, but I think he'll come in and then see if there's a way that he can be traded next year.
Is there any way that just without him saying he's not playing whatsoever, I mean, is there a level in which enough is enough on either side here at all?
I mean, it's emotional. I mean, you can see that if more emotion gets involved in this, then it's going to go. But I think that the one thing that maybe even Aaron realizes is they're not going to trade him. And if that's going to be the case, I mean, he loses money and loses everything else, whereas they control things. And so because they control things, I think he may recognize that. But again, like anything else, if he does hold out into the regular season, then they may get mad enough because all of a sudden their season is shot. Because, that goes from, you saw it a couple of years ago. They went from a 12, 13-win team to 8 wins when Aaron got hurt. And so they're not going to be good enough to even win 8 games without Aaron Rodgers.
So John Clayton, the professor, via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Care to speculate on where he'll be quarterbacking the year after this? Let's just say, for the sake of me asking this question, he's going to be in Green Bay this year. Mm-hmm. Will he pass this year?
I think he can go to one or two places. I think Denver's his preference. His fiance is in Boulder, Colorado. I think that he likes the organization. Now, the only thing that could hold that back is that they just reached a settlement on the lawsuit, and so they pulled the lawsuit between all the sisters and the family members out of the court, and it's very possible that the Broncos could sell. That may hold down his desire to go there because he doesn't know who may own the team, and so that could be an issue. I think there's growing thoughts that New Orleans might be willing to do something with Sean Payton, and so that could be a possibility. Now, obviously, nothing was going to happen this year because they don't have the cap room to be able to do anything. Remember, they had to cut about $118 million of cap room just to get under the cap this year, and so and they've got Jameis Winston in a cheap contract. They may go with Taysom Hill, but I think that New Orleans or and maybe even you throw in Philadelphia because Philadelphia's even interested in Deshaun Watson, and so those are 3 possibilities.
John Clayton is with us, and I know you always have your eye out in covering Seattle, and this certainly is big-time interest of those teams in the NFC West, and the Colts have the Rams in week number 2. How about the effect the loss for the season of Cam Akers is going to have on the Rams, their new old quarterback in Matthew Stafford, and the overall view in the NFC West to start the season?
Well, the whole view, and I think so much of it has to do with that overdone story about Russell Wilson being upset with the team to a point where he was going to think about being traded, and obviously that was never going to happen. I think that's kind of tainted what people think about Seattle, because I still think there's a slight edge that they have, a slight edge over the Rams, but that may have changed with the injury to Cam Akers, because when you think about that, now they're better at quarterback with Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's done a great job. Sean McVay loves the fact that he gets rid of the ball quick. But also they lose Josh Reynolds. They lose a tight end in Gerald Everett. To get the contract of $20 million for Stafford, and also for putting $22.2 million of dead money on Jared Goff, they lost 10 free agents out of the 11 that they had. And so because of that, they lose 4 starters on defense, a starting center, the backed up tight end, a third wide receiver, and now losing Akers because he was their best back. I know he only gained 1 more yard than Darrell Henderson, but it's not even close between the two, because everybody, and I think there's not a single person around the league that didn't agree that Cam Akers was going to have a breakout season. Because remember, he gained over 680 yards last year. He missed a whole bunch of time with an injury, and that happened in week 2. Second half of the season, he was lights out. He was really good. And so to lose that, along with 4 starters on defense and a couple other key guys as a third receiver and a tight end and a starting center, I think that could hold them back a little bit.
Hey, John, Melvin Ingram's 32 years old, signed yesterday, 1-year deal in Pittsburgh. What can that do for him, and maybe even more so that defense of the Steelers?
Yeah, I think it'll help. He's obviously not going to be as good as they had with Bud Dupree, but I think he can help out. Now, again, he's more of a 4-3 defensive end, but he also has pass rush ability where he can help out on the 3-4 and put a pass a little bit more on the other side of T.J. Watt. And so I think that it's a good signing. They say it's $4 million. It's probably less than that. But no, I think it's a good signing. He was considered to be the 3rd best player of the remaining free agents who were out there. And so to be able to get him, and remember, it's like that's the market right now. Since May 2nd, that there's only been 6 players, and he'll be 7, that got $3 million or more, on a 1-year deal. And so I think they got him at a good price, and I think they got a good player.
So John Clayton via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. John, we're closing in on camps opening up around the NFL, and this is always a hot-button issue. These notable guys that may be really playing in camp for their jobs, who might they be, and how much interest in these guys that we might see that are notable names that could end up getting cut by a team or two throughout the NFL before we start this regular season?
Well, you know that something's going to happen with Zach Ertz in Philadelphia. He's on the last year of his contract, and he makes more than they can really afford right now. And so, he could be traded. It could be Indy. It could be Buffalo. So that could go. Right now, it looks like the Patriots are going to stay with Stephon Gilmore. And then, you look around, and we watch so many. What you worry about is the guards and maybe the right tackles, because they took the biggest punishment when it came to the $10 million plus guys that ended up either getting cut, having to take pay cuts, or getting traded. We're down to a point right now where there's only, I think, 6 right guards making over $10 million a year, 5 left guards making over $10 million a year, and 7 right tackles making over $10 million a year. That's a big drop from last year. So those are the positions you kind of watch for, and then everything else should fall in place, but at least you get to camp and then see where things are, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to get injuries.
Yeah, we just talked about with Cam Akers, and certainly it's going to be prevalent, as it always is, around the NFL. When you look at the Colts, for example, what's your expectation for Eric Fisher? Once he's healthy enough to return for the Colts to play left tackle, can he recapture what we saw from him before that injury a year ago?
Yeah, I don't know if he can play at that Pro Bowl level, but I think he can play at a good level. He knows what he's doing. He was a former very high pick in the draft. He's got the experience. I think that Frank Reich will set it up so that they're not going to overburden him and have him do too much. But I think he can be very effective because, again, of all the guys since May 2nd that got jobs, he was a little even before May 2nd. he was one of the highest paid at $8.3 million. And so obviously, if Chris Ballard's going to pay $8.3 million, there's got to be some confidence that he can do enough things from week one and thereafter.
Now, is your expectation the Colts at some point here in the not-so-distant future will have the highest-paid offensive line in the history of the NFL?
I would think so, yeah, because I mean, what you see is that they got to do something with Braden Smith. That's gonna be expensive. You know that it's going to be a record contract for Quentin Nelson.
And how will that compare to left tackles? Quentin Nelson at left guard compared to what the top left tackles get in the NFL?
Well, I mean, the top left tackles now they're in that $22 million range. I can't see Quentin getting that. I can see him maybe getting 17 or 18. I mean, right now, Brandon Scherf's sitting there with the franchise tag, a second franchise tag at 18, and he's good, but he really hasn't had a healthy season since 2016. He's missed games every year from 2016 on. And he's not going to be back probably with the Washington football team because again, it's like a third franchise tag would take him up to $25 million, and clearly they're not going to do that. So no, but I think the Colts could end up with the highest paid offensive line in the league.
So John Clayton with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Does Julio Jones coming into Nashville and being out there with A.J. Brown, does that take some pressure and workload away from Derrick Henry? Is that a part of what they want to do in Tennessee offensively?
Yeah, because particularly when they go three receivers, what ends up happening is that who's going to go 8 in the box? I mean, there's going to be so much eight in the box left to stop Henry, so he's going to have going against 7 guys trying to stop him. That's going to open things up a little bit more. So I think he gets a big benefactor out of that. Now, again, what you wonder about with 3 receivers, are they going to throw the ball a little bit more? Certainly this helps Ryan Tannehill because look at the options that he has, but I think it does elevate what Henry can do because now, I mean, there's virtually no way you can go 8 in the box when you have Brown and you have Jones on the field.
You think Jones stays healthy for the entirety of the season, or is that a little bit too much to ask?
I think it's reasonable to ask. I mean, he's been healthy until last year. I mean, last year he suffered the leg injuries, and that kind of pulled him down. But even in the 9 games that he played, he did have 51 catches or so. I mean, he still has the ability if they target him enough to get 100 catches. But I think that he can stay healthy.
Hey, John, I mentioned the end game in Green Bay. What's going to be the end game in Houston? Because it's been really quiet down there, at least for the past month or so, and we assume at some point it's going to get a little bit noisy. But where is this team going to be, in your opinion, and especially going to be with Deshaun Watson, quarterback or not, in the foreseeable future?
Well, nothing is going to happen on the case because, I mean, what's going to happen is that he's not going to be deposed until February 22nd of next year. And the cases, which is 22 cases, which are not being settled, they're not going to go until maybe May to July of next year. So from the legal standpoint, nothing can happen. Now, what Roger Goodell's got to figure out, do you put him on the exempt list with the 22 lawsuits? I mean, they did that on one incident that Ben Roethlisberger had in 2011 with a girl in Georgia, and he got suspended 6 and they cut it down to 4. But if you put him on the commissioner exempt list, he gets full pay. And so it's like that's still an option, but we don't know how that's going to resolve itself. Everybody anticipates he's not going to be there at training camp because he doesn't want to be there anymore. I mean, there is interest apparently in Philadelphia, and of course, remember they were able to sign Michael Vick after he came out of jail, and then so they're not against, I think, Watson doing it, and there's definite interest in Philly. There seems to be some in Miami, but I'm still kind of baffled by that because they have Tua. But it's still going to be on the quiet part because, again, legally nothing's going to happen until next year.
Yeah, John Clayton joins us. You look at the AFC North, the quarterbacks of the AFC North, and Ben Roethlisberger being in his final season. Is he going to be the 4th best quarterback in that division this year?
I don't think so. I think he's going to bounce back. I mean, certainly that Lamar Jackson needs to do better in throwing for yards. I mean, he certainly won an MVP, and he's got that team right up toward the top. Baker Mayfield came on toward the end of the season, did a lot of good things there. But I think Ben can bounce back. I mean, the only big concern is their offensive line. They've had 4 changes on the offensive line, and so they're younger, but are they going to be good enough to protect him? But the one thing that's going to happen this year with Ben is that the fact that they were able to get a running back in the first round after having virtually no running game last year, and that's going to help. That's why Najee Harris is going to be such a big addition, because now at least he's going to have a running game he didn't have last year.
You know, John, too, and we were talking about rebirths of sorts of players coming off of injuries, and then there are other situations like one we know very well here in Carson Wentz and the hope for that quarterback here in Indy with Frank Reich and Sam Darnold and his hope in Carolina. Is he going to turn this thing around and become at least maybe in the zip code of what people thought he might be able to be coming out of USC?
It might be a lot to ask for 1 year, but I think he can bounce back, because I think he goes to a team that has better talent. I think Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, can do a good job. They've certainly it's going to help having Christian McCaffrey there, because he's the best pass-catching running back in the league, just as long as he can stay healthy. So I think that, I think he has a chance to bounce back.
It was a disappointing ending to the season for the Dolphins a year ago. Do you have belief in Tua that can take this team to the postseason and then some here, or are you kind of outside looking in as far as what you believe he can be in taking a team in the NFL, a quarterback?
I still think he can be good, but I still kind of question a little bit. I mean, we need to see more development. I think he made a statement, which probably shouldn't, saying he needs to work harder, and if he does that, I think that he can be all right. But in the end, I think it's one where he's good, but he needs to show so much better to prove he was that good of a pick to be able to take by the Dolphins.
Yeah, and I'll also think about this. And John Clayton, by the way, joins us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He had such a good rookie season. How much further along, how much elevation in his game at quarterback will we see with Justin Herbert with the Chargers?
I mean, I think he can just go at that same level last year, because he was fantastic. I mean, he was the rookie of the year. Obviously, there can be some improvements of what he can do. He's got a good receiving group and everything. So I just think that they got a steal in him. I still remember talking to scouts and asking for comparables. And the comparable on him, which was automatic, was Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons. And he plays like obviously a younger version of Matt Ryan, and I think he has a chance to really do well.
John, in closing here, too, I know a lot of guys every year have something to prove. Where on that list is Kyler Murray at quarterback in Arizona?
I think that, he needs to prove that he get this team close to the playoffs. I don't think it's playoffs or bust. I think there's actually more pressure on Cliff Kingsbury than there is him. I mean, because what you question right now, is there enough at running back after they lose Stephon Drake, who ended up going to the Raiders as a backup for $11 million over 2 years? The offensive line, I think, is going to be okay, but he needs to step up and do a little bit more. But I think right now he's one of the good young rising quarterbacks in this league.
The vaccination rate among NFL players throughout the NFL, where it stands right now, what do you think about the percentage, the number where they say the league is?
I don't like it. I think it's going to be very troublesome, because you take a team like Washington, and they seem to be stubborn about it, the players. I mean, they're less than 40% vaccination. I think the teams with the low vaccination rates have a chance to have a competitive disadvantage against that. Because, again, think about how their teams are going to be constructed. I mean, number one, you can't get on a team charter if you don't have a vaccination. I mean, you can't eat with your teammates. You have to wear a mask all day long, except when you're on the field. You have to be isolated if you're going to be in the hotel. I just think it's a tough thing, and I'm just kind of baffled why more players just don't get the simple vaccination. Again, it's their choice. They're not going to be forced to, but I think it's problematic.
How is this going to be viewed if, obviously, as you mentioned, it's their choice, but if their choice ultimately contributes to costing their team a game or something even more, how will this be widely viewed?
Well, I mean, not that it'll happen to really good players that don't get the vaccination, but Brandon Beane of the Buffalo Bills, the general manager, expressed that, he wouldn't be opposed to cutting somebody if a vaccination causes a problem. Because, you think about, the fact that I was just counting it up the other day, actually last night, there was about 140 players who were starters who missed time because of COVID-19, 140 missed games. And so what you're looking at is that, if you have a big rush among the non-vaccinated players having COVID-19, and, that's going to cause a problem, you start to lose games, there's going to be major problems.
How's the percentage going for you with the team you cover in Seattle?
I think it's I know right before they left minicamp, it was just a little bit under 70%. I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of the 13 teams that are at 85. So I think there's enough effort right now to get in there, but clearly they're between 70 and 85.
John, I love talking to you, and I got a feeling that leading up to week number 1 of that matchup here, we're going to have a couple of more conversations. And frankly, I can't wait. I appreciate you more than you know. I hope you're having a fantastic summer.
Yep, trying to do the best we can.
Hey, John, I appreciate it. We'll do it again soon.
Okay, thanks.
It's John Clayton. You can hear him on SiriusXM, NFL Radio. You can actually read him, Washington Post. He always is outstanding to the show. And we appreciate him for that. You know, it's funny, too. There's not a great deal going on right now, but when you talk to John, it sounds like there's a great deal going on right now. He always, and it's funny, man, during the season when, like, everything is going on, that we got to go really, really quick. But he makes it sound like there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Hey, shout out to everybody inside the lounge via YouTube Live. Jay Law says, hey, I listened to the AM signal all the way down to French Lick yesterday. I love it. And I made no mistake about that. Always have and always will. Shout out to Jay Law down in French Lick. That is one hell of a place any time of year, but especially I think this time of year. No matter where you go, if you go to the hotel and casino, if you go to West Baden, to that hotel, if you go down to Patoka, I know we don't talk about Patoka Lake very much. We're always talking about up here, Morris and Geist and Eagle Creek, and then, obviously Lake Monroe. But, man, Patoka is a beaut, too. Hey, JMV, I agree with you regarding Corey Kispert. He's a slightly more athletic version of Doug McDermott, but that didn't work too well against Baylor. He will be an NBA journeyman for a few years as a second-team three-point shooter. That's from Bruce. And believe me, I like the dude, and I hope it doesn't turn out that way. But it may take him a minute to find a team. You got to think about the comparison, Bruce, you just made to Doug McDermott. He didn't really find what is adequate in the NBA for him until he got here. And that is one thing that you look at Nate Bjorkgren. And Nate Bjorkgren offensively, he kind of unearthed a part of Doug McDermott that either a lot of us or basically anybody across the NBA didn't really recognize offensively the type of game he had. Everybody prior to that, wherever he was, you're going to go stake out in the corner, and it's going to be a drive and dish, and you're going to pop a three. But then all of a sudden, he started off the dribble, taking it. Little two-man game with Domas Sabonis. Of the pretty, and I say pretty basketball moments, the two-man game between, or with in this case, Domas and Doug McDermott was as fun as anything else that we witnessed in a really tough year to watch, especially down the stretch of this past. All right, quick break, and we shall return. I got time for your calls. In fact, I got 30 minutes to dial you in at 239-1070 if you so desire. Inside the Lounge via YouTube Live at JMV1070. That is on Twitter. And JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put that up on the podcast with the Professor John Clayton, Greg Rakestraw a little bit earlier, too. And I got to get to this. I got some stuff to give away. They are Kings of Leon, a 4-pack today. Not right now. Hold on. And I've got 2 4-packs to see Fish. And these are Subway Party Deck passes, right? So here's what this entails. I'm going to give you a couple of different opportunities to win, right? So Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. Fish got back-to-back shows the 16th and 17th. Kings of Leon in also in the month of August on the 22nd. Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. It is the Subway Party Deck, an exclusive Subway platform, and it is going to be a blast. These tickets cannot be purchased. You can only win them right here. An exclusive 40-person private reserved covered concert deck. Great for social distancing, crowd management, private cash bar exclusively for those on the subway deck only. And as I've said before, the only way that you're going to get down with this subway party deck is to win these tickets right here. So we're going to go to work before 6 o'clock and giving you that opportunity. Again, Kings of Leon, a 4-pack, and I've got 2 4-packs to see Fish. Both shows, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center, coming up in the month of August. Your calls and so much more. We're back with you next.
Jeff Bassett here with Bassett Services. We are here to take care of you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We may doze, but we never close.
Bassett is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Dear driver, thank you. Thank you for slowing down when you saw the orange cones and road construction signs. My husband is one of those road workers. And today, you saved his life. If you hadn't slowed down, you would have missed that lane change, driven right into the work zone, and you would have killed him. Because you were driving differently. He'll be at our son's Little League game this weekend. He'll be there to walk our daughter down the aisle. He'll be out there tomorrow, making Indiana's roads safer. Thank you.
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert, be in the zone.
This is Ray Hobbs, business manager of Labor's Local 741. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, open your eyes, pay attention.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Hey, JMV, and let's talk about getting you a new set of wheels. How about it? At Indiana's Best, it's Eric Wilson, Andy Moore Buick GMC 131st, and State Road 37 in Fishers, where there is construction, but it does not make any difference whatsoever. Easy to get into, easy to get out of, and what you're going to get fully out of it is the best car buying experience you have ever had. The best prices, including 0%, 72 months on nearly everything on the lot at Indiana's Best, and conversations and a car buying experience with Eric Wilson, my friend, and all of his colleagues at Indiana's Best that you have never had before. It's absolutely incredible. It's all at one place. So car, truck, or van-wise, if you're looking for a new set of wheels, hey, do it at a place that you will love the car buying experience and the best deal you're going to find. It's at one location, Andy Moore Buick GMC. That's 131st and State Road 37 in Fishers.
Hey, Indiana, with Unibet Sportsbook's Level Up Parlay Booster, you can get unlimited parlay boosts of up to 50%. Sign up today to get $500 risk-free. Build a parlay no one else in Indiana could have thought of. Download the app or visit in.unibet.com. Unibet Sportsbook, crazy about the odds. Must be 21 or over to play and physically located in Indiana. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a no-charge appraisal? It's never asking for a credit card or charging for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan.
No risk on refinancing, but I live for danger.
With our rates at a low 2.25%, refinancing with Golden Oak is anything but risky business. Get started today at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Big Red Liquors, 58 Central Indiana locations. Oh, it is always the final stop for fun and preparation for tonight, tomorrow night, this weekend, for a party you're throwing, for a hangout, for a backyard cookout, for whatever celebration you're having. One of the 58 Central Indiana locations of Big Red Liquors. It's for you. And right now, the month of July, cold beer, hot prices, even hotter prizes all month long. They're giving away 3 big green eggs. 3 big green eggs. You can sign up. It's free. Got to be 21 at any of the Big Red Liquors locations. 3 big green eggs given away the month of July at Big Red Liquor. Sign up today. You got to be 21. And for more info online, that's bigredliquors.com.
There's Pablo in his natural habitat, opening his internet bill in fear. He just saw his 12-month promotional price ended. Uh-oh, and he just discovered the equipment fees. Back away slowly.
If your
internet bill drives you wild, just remember, you're not a bad person. You just need a straightforward price. Get AT&T Fiber. Unlimited internet with no price increase at 12 months. Visit att.com/no hidden fees. Limited availability in select areas.
You need a work schedule that fits your life, and Amazon has shifts that help you make the best use of your time. Whether you're a night owl, early bird, weekend warrior, or somewhere in between, discover the benefits of thinking outside the 9 to 5. You decide whether to seize the day or the night so you can get back to what matters most. Go to amazon.com/shifts to learn more. That's amazon.com/SHIFTS. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, JMV here for LD Smith Plumbing. Keep this number handy, 317-284-9526. Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. Large jobs, small emergencies, you always know you're going to get the best. And as I said before, I've dealt with all of them, right? I've dealt with the easy part, a garbage disposal replacement, and I've had no water. And I've had no water. Coldest day of the year back in February on a Sunday morning, and Lance and his local team got out there and had that thing done on Sunday morning. Believe me, you can always count on them. They're the absolute best. That's Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. Tell them that I sent you. 317-284-9526. It is online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live-in-the-moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
To some, it's a game of chance, but for you, it's a game of choice. Hollywood, Ameristar, and Barstool Sportsbook let you choose how you want to play. Bet on any game, anytime, anywhere. Download the Barstool Sportsbook app, register with promo code BarstoolIndiana, and get a 2-for-1 new player bonus with up to $1,000 bonus cash if you lose your first bet. Plus, at the Barstool Sportsbook at Hollywood or Ameristar, and get $50 in comps and $50 off room rates. Choose your game. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT or text INGAMB to 53342 for help.
The Indiana State Fair is back with Hoosier Spirit to Spare. 18 spirited days, 4 spirited weekends. The tastes, the sounds, the midway, the music, the smells, and smiles of summer return. July 30th through August 22nd at your Indiana State Fair. Save big on advanced discount tickets till July 29th at indianastatefair.com. We're celebrating the Hoosier Spirit at your great Indiana State Fair.
You have a lot more equity than you think. Now is the perfect time for a cash-out refinance. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
The Ride with JMV.
Let me have a Diablo sandwich, a Dr. Pepper. Make it fast. I'm in a damn hurry.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Race Draw John Clayton podcast, 107.5, thefan.com. Shout out to Mitchell. Mitchell is listening, actually watching and listening via YouTube Live from Phoenix, Arizona, the home of our friend Jonah in Arizona, which is even more so outstanding. Inside the lounge via YouTube Live, you can listen and watch and participate right there if you would like. We'd love to have you. JMV, lakes, casinos, and stuff like that. I love French Lick. Patoka Lake. Yeah, it's fantastic down there. Hey, JMV, to go along with your transformation comments from earlier, my mom had seats at the 45, about 8 rows up, visitor side at the old Hoosier/RCA Dome, and a guy that sat 4 rows below her would bring a book to read during the game. I'm so glad things have changed. Nah, I mean, you get more jackassery there now. There's no doubt about it. But it was knitting. It was penny loafers. It was not wearing Colts gear. It was more fans coming in here to cheer for the Dolphins and Dan Marino and Don Shula than it was, or basically anybody else other than the Colts. There was no tailgating. I mean, you basically drove straight from your house to this game. Nothing. Transformational indeed. 239-1070. Caleb is up next today. Caleb, thank you for the call. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, John?
Great, thank you. Go ahead.
So, I'm not, mad or upset or anything like that. I understand these decisions are made because of, money. But so I just had a question, and I don't know if you have the answer or not, but I work out of my truck in northern Indiana, so cell service, I don't have any cell service.
Yep.
And, I can only get the AM frequency. So do you know if there's any plans in the works for people in my situation?
Well, here's what, and I just know what I've read because nobody has told me anything. And I think and I've made it known just how much I love this signal. I always have and always will. And I hate it when it's going to be turned off. It's not my decision, and I know it's a fantastic business decision, and that's well above my pay grade, and that's fine. I love and respect those that are making that decision, but I can also love the fact that the 1070 AM signal is and always will be a very important outlet that you just so incredibly defined. Because not everybody is going to have the technology or the coverage or the cell stuff, and you always the lifeboat was always that AM signal, and I do get that. Now, to get to what you ask, I think Jeff Smolian, who's the owner here, had mentioned that they were actively looking for another place, and I kind of jokingly said a little bit earlier, I mean, between, my wife's mom and my mom and me, I got like 200 acres. You can hang that thing on any of my property. I don't care where you hang it as long as you hang it and turn it on. Because I do. I always think, like, there are so many reasons that you get hit over the head with, Caleb, not to listen to local radio. I don't want to give you guys another one. I don't. And I want you guys to always be with us whether it's here 3 until 6 or noon until 3 or in the morning with Jeff and Joe or whenever. And I just don't want to give people another reason not to keep this thing local. And I want to serve you as somebody that does a radio show to the local folks. And that's what I'm afraid with this. And believe me, I've been given numbers, and this is what's going on, and this is, the slide that we have seen as far as the percentage of listeners on AM. But beyond the numbers and what you hear, there are people like you that it's absolutely necessary. And Caleb, I understand that. I do. And hopefully they find measures and means to find a spot to turn it back on or do something with, because I love it. It's got an incredible history just beyond my years here and beyond my years of paying attention to radio that I have such a great deal of respect for. And certainly it helps out folks like you, because I know that there are more than just a couple of you out there in a similar situation.
Yeah, and because to be honest, like, I'm in my truck all day long, so I'm listening to Jeff and Big Joe, I'm listening to Dan, I'm listening to you. Like, the only time I turn it off is when Greeny comes on, because, quite frankly, I don't care about national stuff. I want to know what's going on here in my backyard.
That's it, because we're the only people that care about you. I completely agree. I do. I mean, if anybody knows me, this has always been, my dream to be here and doing this has never been to be anywhere else or out of market or anything national. And I sure as hell don't have the talent to be it, but I am certainly proud of being here and being allowed to inform, hopefully entertain, and have some fun with you on a daily basis. I have so much respect for local radio, and I always want to keep that on every single platform as possible as we can. So I'm right there with you. I really am, and I understand your situation. I wish I had more answers. I mean, I wish I had a solution for you right now. I mean, hopefully we find one for people like you that can't get it via the stream or the app or whatever. Hopefully something works out, because I'm right there with you. I am.
And do you know if on the app they plan on doing anything with Colts games? Because I know I can't listen to Colts games on the apps when I do have cell service.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Oh, I can now?
No, you can't. You cannot.
Oh.
Yeah. You can.
All right. Well, thank you.
I'm telling you what, just hang with me, and we'll see. Well, I don't want you going anywhere, because I know you, Caleb, and you are a big-time contributor. And I don't want you to be soured on local radio, okay? I don't want that whatsoever. We don't want that whatsoever. So hang with us.
That.
You got it, buddy. I appreciate you. And listen, if I have to talk to every one of you, by God, I will. Because I know that there's a lot of people, a lot of feet on the ledge right now, and I don't want you on the ledge. Just give me time to hopefully help work this out. And if I have to talk, as I mentioned, if I have to talk to each and every one of you, I absolutely will. I mean, this has been it right here. This has been it. This has been spectacular. It always will be. I mean, hell, I want to go down the hall on Saturday night. I mean, go down the hall on Saturday night and roll requests for you because I love it. Love it. But I do, and believe me, they do as well. I mean, these are good folks here. These are good, smart, radio-loving folks. And they care here. And what we have to find, we got to find some common ground and a solution. Because, Caleb, folks like you, I'm absolutely with you. And hopefully that solution is sooner rather than later. Now, for those of you that want to blame me for this, I've got jack squat to do with it. I mean, nothing to do with it. And I know some of you don't because you know that I come in here on Saturday and, I mean, I'm 6 days a week dedicated to you, and I love it. I would not have it any other way. What am I doing on Saturday night anyway? I got my thumb straight up my rear end at home. I mean, it's nothing. What, am I going to go out and party? This is not 1995. 1995, I'd go, wait a minute, well, Saturday night. But, yeah, 2021, not so much. Caleb, I appreciate that. Anybody else? I mean, if you require me to give you an explanation, give you a reason, talk to you, you're more than welcome to contact me, not even necessarily in a public forum. You can contact me via email, on Twitter, Inside the Lounge or wherever. And I'll give you the best answers that I have, and hopefully we'll find solutions together here relatively soon. Quick break. Back with you next.
Summer is here, so kids, tell your parents about the Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
PNC Bank believes that if your smartwatch can help you avoid overdoing it during a workout, then your bank should be able to help you avoid an overdraft fee. Introducing Low Cash Mode, available with Virtual Wallet, the financial watch-out that gives you advance warning, multiple options, and at least 24 hours of extra time to help avoid an overdraft fee. Because we believe how you handle overdrafts should be in your control, not just your bank's. And now through September 28th, earn up to $300 when you open and use a select new Virtual Wallet product. Simply establish a qualifying direct deposit. To learn more, visit a branch or pnc.com/checking offer. Virtual Wallet with Low Cash Mode from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference. Low Cash Mode is a service mark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. Virtual Wallet is a registered trademark of the PNC Financial Services Group, Incorporated. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Hey, it's JMV here. Let me give you the options you have in real hair growth. And maybe you weren't thrilled with your latest view, the reflection in the mirror, and you go, hey, what is happening here? 4-head into a 5-head. I've got a bald spot with that classic horseshoe design. And, hey, listen, you might be a Colts fan, but you don't want that classic horseshoe design on your dome. You want to do something about it. Darren Anders and PAI can. Multi-unit hair grafting, Artist Robotic FUE, laser hair therapy. It works. PRP after the fact, too, to make sure you maintain your real hair growth. It works. All you got to do is look at me inside the lounge on YouTube Live right now. I mean, you think this lettuce had a little helper here. It did. From Darren Andrews and PAI, if you want the option for real hair growth, again, 888-724-5129 is WeGrowHairIndy.com.
Summer happens at Speedway because everything you need for summer happens at Speedway. Like drinks. Drinks happen. The freshly brewed drink, the splashed over ice drink, the wake you up drink, the cool you off drink, the make your brain hurt for a minute drink. All poured however you want them, whenever you want them, all summer long. So on every hot day, you have something cold to sip. Speedway. Summer happens here. And now, get any size fountain or Speedy Freeze for just 89 cents. Excludes maximum.
Over 1/3 of adults released from Indiana prisons return within 3 years, but CareSource wants to break that cycle. That's why we provide vital assistance for our members to find jobs, housing, and education after they serve their time, while alleviating a major burden on taxpayers, too. A healthy Indiana depends on so much more than just healthcare. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining health insurance.
Love Eating It Air, 317-353-2141. They are helping keep me cool and comfortable in my home. And they can help you as well, especially if all of a sudden you realize that you're not as cool and comfortable as you might have been a month ago. Maybe something has gone a bit haywire. Maybe it's just something as easy as a tune-up. They can do it easily for you. 317-353-2141. Maybe you're on the verge of having a sort of a system breakdown, and they have great prices to make sure you maintain your comfort while also being able to afford something that is great for the foreseeable future. I'm telling you, they are the best. It's John and Chris Love at Love Heating and Air. 317-353-2141. It's online, love-hvac.com today.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Home values all around the nation are skyrocketing. Just take a look and see what some of the houses in your neighborhood are selling for. You have a lot more equity than you think. Well, with mortgage interest rates in the 2s and home values at record highs, now is the perfect time for a cash-out refinance. How much money can you save? Let's find out now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Siri, read me that text.
Sorry, I can't complete your request.
You want me to read that?
No, I got it.
Construction zone.
I see it.
Watch it.
Oh.
Oh my God. You're gonna hit him!
Oh, fuck!
When driving in a construction zone, be smart, be alert. Be in the zone.
This is Ward Daniels, business manager of Labor's Local 120. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, open your eyes, pay attention.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Right now, save up to $150 off Big O brand tires with your Big O credit card. And don't forget to take advantage of Pay Nothing Today financing options. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Go trackside with Kurt Cabin and Kevin Lee. Tonight at 7 on The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I got nowhere else to go!
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Kyle's over there. I'm John. Thank you for joining us. Trackside, Kevin and Kevin coming at you tonight at 7 o'clock. 9P for the NBA Finals game number 6. Shout out to Mr. Fahrenheit. Ryan Rhodes, you have not missed the call-in for tickets just yet. You know what's funny about this? I am not, I consider myself fairly rounded in a lot of areas. Maybe not looks or health, but yeah, as far as sports and music and entertainment and stuff like that. But I don't know jack squat about fish. I do know that they have a hell of a following, and I do know that most of the folks that follow them, I mean, literally follow them. Or at least they have in the past. And we've made the jokes about those that do follow them probably don't shower as often as you would like. But I don't know if that's true or not. I just know that you guys, I know a lot of people like their music, and I dig that. But no, I'll roll out. Want to do a fish song a little bit later. We'll do a Kings of Leon. Because I got both Subway Party Deck 4-packs for you. Fish the 16th and 17th at Ruoff, and Kings of Leon the 22nd of August at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. And it shall be outstanding. See you, Toddley. Absolutely outstanding. So we'll give you a chance to win that coming up a little bit later on. I just don't know. It's not going to be right now. I want to play some re-entries for you to identify. And, in fact, I'm glad you reminded me because I should have done one right there and not GNR. Jeff writes this. Can you guys just add more phone lines and we can just, call in and wait on hold and listen? Yes. Listen, I don't care. I don't care. We are here as a local folks to serve you. So whatever you're asked for, I'll consider. There's really no – well, I take that back. There are probably some dumb questions, but not all of them. JMV, I heard you talking about Manning a little bit earlier. Do you think that everybody around here may reach the point where they're just so hit over the head with constant pats on the back from Manning that they get tired of the era, get tired of hearing about it? A, I don't know how you could ever be that if you've grown up around here. B, I don't certainly know how you could be that right now, given the fact he's about ready to join the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And C, are you crazy? Of course not. As meaningful as anything has ever been around here. I mean, we're getting all sentimental on each other's shoulder right here about things, right? About Caleb's call a moment ago and signals and places and back in the day stuff. There is nothing that has been more meaningful for the sports landscape in this market than 18 being a part of it. Nothing. You put that right up there with the late, great Slick Leonard and Nancy Leonard and the Pacer Telethon. I guess other than that, I mean, without those two things taking place, we're probably Louisville. And listen, there's nothing wrong with Louisville. I mean, you got some great Evan Williams bourbon down there, and you got a river, and you got a nice down, but. And you got Bojangles. But sports-wise, yeah, that's not enough. John Matthews wants me to give the opportunity, at least for one 4-pack, to YouTube viewers and listeners. Is that possible? See, there are some things I really struggle in wrapping my little tiny brain around, and that's one of them. Maybe that's why I love the fact that you guys find ways to listen, is because – yeah, maybe I can't wrap my head around the rest of it. Think about that for a moment, Kyle. Let us take a break. Stephen Holder's going to join us fresh off a vacation on the other side. There are a lot of things we got to get to before the start of Colts camp up in Westfield. Most important offensive player in 2021, not named Carson Wentz, on this Colts offense. The most important, and that does include offensive linemen. That and more with Stephen Holder and you and me. Next.
Android users, BetRivers Sportsbook is ready for download in the Google Play Store. Just search for BetRivers and download the app. It's never been easier to get in the game. You'll enjoy the ease of use and critical speed of the new BetRivers Android app. Bet with a winner. Download the BetRivers Android app in the Google Play Store today. Must be 21 or over to play. Playable only in Indiana. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Got Medicaid? Got Medicare? Get more benefits. A dual special needs plan from United Healthcare gives you dental coverage, credits to buy over-the-counter products, routine vision care, and much more. If you have Medicaid and Medicare, there's more for you. Call 1-855-556-7598. That's 1-855-556-7598. Benefits and features vary by plan and area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Hey, John here. A shout-out to Heaven Hill Distillery. That's Brent Holverson and Randy Strand, because here we go. Backyard Bourbon Broadcast number 2, the end of this month. Somebody, we're going to be in your backyard broadcasting live. We bring the party, you, 30 of your friends, Honestly, it's spectacular. We bring everything you need. Heaven Hill Distillery has the Evan Williams, Larceny Bourbon. New Belgium Brewing has the Fruit Smash. You know what that is, right? The hard seltzer. Yes, Ryan Stoltz brings that. And also Voodoo Ranger and Fat Tire. Richard Ford's Garage with the great food, and you got to stay hydrated. We know that for sure. Joe, John, and Dennis with the best water, the greatest hydration out there. It's Connecticut. All you got to do is sign up. It's that easy. We're going to do number 2 of 3, the Backyard Bourbon Broadcast, brought to you by Heaven Hill Distillery. Coming at you. All you got to do is sign up right now for your chance to win. 1075thefan.com.
When it comes to working at Geico, our best advocates are our employees, like Justina. But since she is so focused on growing her career, we hired an actor to read her story.
At Geico, I receive support from those above me. If you want to move up, you really have that relationship and encouragement.
As a full-time employee, she can even get paid training and tuition reimbursement. Yep, there's no stopping her now. She's even taken over book club.
Ready to start your career, Indy? We're hiring claim sales and service agents. Apply online today at geico.job/Indy.
You hear all the time about Diamonds Direct's prices and selection and warranties. All true, and all good reasons to give us a visit. But what really sets Diamonds Direct apart is something that's hard to put into words. But you will feel it. You'll know it from the minute you walk in. It's our unique culture, our passion, our genuine and absolute desire to totally revolutionize the way you experience jewelry shopping. It's why we do what we do. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
John for PAI, WeGrowHairIndy.com. Your real growing hair again at 888-724-5129. Let Darren Andrews explain to you exactly what goes down with all the techniques to get your real hair growth back. PAI, 888-724-5129 or WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
The most important financial decision you'll make isn't picking the next hot stock or fund manager. It's selecting the right financial advisor. How do you pick the advisor that's right for you? Find out in a special virtual event with New York Times bestselling author Rick Edelman today at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. It's free. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. During the event, you'll get advice on how to select the right financial advisor, and you'll get a list of the 11 must-ask questions you can carry with you when you interview financial advisors. If you already have an advisor, you can use the list to evaluate if they are right for you. The virtual event will give you all the information you need to help you make the right decision, and Rick will make it entertaining. The presentation is free, so register right now for this special virtual event today at 3 p.m. or at 8 p.m. Eastern. Register at EdelmanFinancialEngines.com. That's EdelmanFinancialEngines.com.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
WFNI, WIBC HD2, W298BB, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
White Sox, Brewers, Sunday Night Baseball. The coverage begins at 6 on 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Well, not really. I felt it on my leg. Come on, I don't want to see it.
93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
Welcome, this is a farmhouse. We have cluster flies and lights. And this time of year.
This is the first time I've ever heard this. Is that bad?
We are so very sorry. There is little way.
Shout out to you, Jason, pulling inside the lounge via YouTube Live. John Matthews says he doesn't want tickets. He wants cash. Well, I'm not giving away cash, John Matthews, so I guess you're SOL. I'm not giving away cash. Hey, the Subway Party Deck. I got a 4-pack for Fish. That show, actually 2 different ones, right? August the 16th and 17th at Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. The Subway Party Deck is what we're talking about. It is exclusive. I mean, you can't buy your way in with tickets. You can only win them right here. Exclusive 40-person private reserve covered concert deck. It is awesome. Private cash bar exclusively for those on the Subway deck only. Fish is the show 4-pack given away right now. Oh, I'm sorry. John Matthews wanted cash from The Athletic. Why did The Athletic give you cash, John? Hey, listen, maybe one of these days I'll give away cash. Fish. That song was called Farmhouse. And clearly you guys love the group because you have lit the lines on fire right here. And I have never seen them. Subway Party Deck exclusive with me right here. We'll get a winner. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. He is fresh off a vacation and the struggles at Legoland in New York. I sidestepped Legoland in Orlando with my crew years ago over a Christmas vacation, and I don't feel bad about it to this date. Stephen Holder from The Athletic joins us. Yeah, the Legos, you almost have to – well, actually, there's no almost. I mean, you have to be like an architect to even put this stuff together anymore.
Dude, seriously, right? I mean, whatever happened to just like making up some random object out of, a bunch of mismatching and random colored Legos like when we were kids, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Now you got to have computer design and, like you said, you got to have an architecture degree. I mean, what the heck, man? But I got my nephews, man. Let me just tell you, these kids, let me just tell you, okay?
They go to work on something a little bit, huh?
Oh, my God. Okay. Let me tell you. All right. So trust me, they were very invested. Let's just say that.
Yeah. My kids loved it too. And they thought they went to the one in Orlando, thought it was outstanding. But man, I'll tell you the other thing too. It is so much more expensive nowadays than it was then.
Huh.
And you basically, you didn't, everything looks like something and everything has got to be pretty much scale to what things actually look like now. The evolution of the Lego has been an incredible feat to watch.
It's true. And I got to tell you, man, there's nothing these people can't make out of Legos, man. I will tell you, there are some impressive things that they have built up there. They've got a whole, at the end of the park, they've got this deal where they build basically replicas of, major cities.
Yeah.
They got New York, L.A., San Francisco. I mean, it's incredible. It is incredible.
So he's back from Legoland in New York. Stephen Holt of The Athletic via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I thought this up because we're closing in on the start of camp up in Westfield. And outside of Carson Wentz, which obviously we're all going to be hardcore watching every single throw during camp, who is the most important offensive player not named Carson Wentz on this team?
The most important, that is a good question because, that's a different question than who is the best.
No
right?
doubt.
And I think, because when you talk about who's important on offense, your mind immediately goes to guys like Quentin Nelson or T.Y. Hilton. I will tell you this. Maybe this is not everyone's first answer. This might not be top of mind for most people. But I think a guy who can make the most difference for them, it might be Michael Pittman. And I say why. Let me tell you why. Because I think his growth potential, from where he was last year to where I think he can be, if he makes that jump, and hell if I know if he's going to do it, but if he makes that jump, this guy is going to have a huge impact for them. And I think they need it because, they didn't do a lot at wide receiver. We talked about that. I think if you want to talk about who has big shoes to fill and who they need to really step up, I think it's him. Look, Quentin Nelson, he's a guard. I get that is maybe a lower impact position. But I think that line generally as a unit is great, right? I think you can take a piece out of that unit and still have a great offensive line. Not that you ever want to play without Quentin Nelson. But I do think, when you talk about what's happening out there on the edge, they need to make some things happen, and you got to help this quarterback. And I don't think T.Y. Hilton can do it all by himself anymore, not at 31 going on 32. So I think it's really incumbent on them to get a lot out of Michael Pittman. So I don't know, maybe not the obvious answer, but that's my answer.
Yeah, well, I'll take this a little bit further. Stephen Holt of The Athletic on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline is for Carson Wentz to be reclaimed as a better top-of-the-line type of quarterback. I don't want to see elite level, but, a quarterback that has reclaimed his career. What's the most important offensive aspect that has to absolutely go well more than anything else? His O-line protection, his running game that is overly consistent and counted on, starting with Jonathan Taylor, or those wide receivers that you talk about that we all still question until they actually stay healthy and get things done?
I think it's the protection, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think that Carson Wentz can play his best football when he's got pressure. I mean, he's demonstrated it. I think that was one of his biggest problems last year, was how he handled pass rush. He didn't. Okay, he didn't handle it, not at all. And there was a lot of it, as we know, right? He got sacked, 89 times, give or take a few, and at the end of the day, what I saw when I watched the film consistently is a guy who didn't make good decisions when he was under pressure. Now, you could repeat that statement for just about every quarterback, right? That is not – I'm not reinventing the wheel here by saying this, but I do think there are quarterbacks who all quarterbacks are obviously impacted by pressure, but the question is, what kind of mistakes do you make when you're under pressure? And a lot of his mistakes came in those moments. And I just think his mechanics, they started to fall apart. I mean, it was not good. I think that was one of his biggest problems. I think probably one of the 2 or 3 biggest things he dealt with last year was just how abysmally he handled pass rush. The good news is, I think if this line stays healthy, I think he's going to have a shot to really have a much different experience. I mean, I think we would expect that no matter who's playing left tackle. I think even to start the season, even if it's not Eric Fisher, I still think he's got a much better scenario here. So I think it's the pass rush, the pass protection, when you ask me what he needs. And it's important because, you just hit on something that I want to kind of touch on. You said, you talked about him maybe not getting back to an elite level, but just a really good quarterback. I think this is important because I think a lot of us, and maybe I'm even guilty of this, we've said over the last few months, well, all they need is for Carson Wentz to just not screw it up. Just don't, just play a little better, let the running game do its thing, and this thing can be on autopilot. I don't necessarily agree with that. He's got to make some plays. He's got to make some plays. If this team wants to take a step, I mean, you want to go to the wild card, you want to be a wild card team, sure. You can have really average quarterback play, and they can be a wild card. They're good enough. But damn it, are they trying to win something? If you are, he's going to have to do more. That is something that we have to recognize and be honest about.
Stephen Holden with us. What's funny is the national folks I've had on this show have an entirely different viewpoint than we do covering the Colts. Their belief is that the Colts can be good enough to maybe challenge in the South, but sneak into the postseason and, be involved in the postseason. But, man, that to me – you set the bar at winning the division and setting yourself up with a home playoff date. I mean, it's weird how the national folks view it much differently with a lot more time the Colts have to get this thing going in a better position than how we view it here covering on a daily basis.
Yeah, it is interesting, and I think I agree with you. And I think the reason for that might be because they just don't have really high expectations for Wentz, which is totally fine and understandable, right? I mean, we all saw the guy play last year. But I think we here understand that this team is comprised in a way that, they feel like they're ready to go. And what they were missing and what they have been missing is the quarterback. And, granted, Phillip Rivers did his thing last year. That was wonderful. I think obviously they need a little more high-level quarterback play if they want to get where they want to go. I don't know if they're going to get it from Carson Wentz, but there's no question. I think, as you said, people here know, all right, this is a very out-of-character move for Chris Ballard to go, give up 2 valuable picks for a quarterback. So we know they're really invested in this. They didn't do this to just stand in place. I think they could have probably went out and got some sort of very average veteran quarterback if all they wanted to do was just contend, for a wild card. I mean, you didn't have to get Carson Wentz maybe to do that, So they see this as a big, bold move. So we should too. That's the way I see it.
So Stephen Holder, The Athletic, joining us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Should we view how, and they finally realized a year ago, how to utilize effectively and at great length Nyheim Hines. Should we expect to see more of that, or is the difference in quarterback going to make a difference in how they utilize Nyheim?
That is a good question. And it's hard to answer, but it's a good question. I think because what you're doing by asking that is I think you're recognizing that Phillip Rivers, when it comes to distributing the ball to
looked
his
at him a
running
lot.
back,
He looked at him a lot.
I mean, he is next level when it comes to getting the ball to his running backs, and he gets it to him in the right spot too, right? So he's really good at that. Is that something that Carson Wentz is prone to? Much less so. And I think the reason for that is Carson Wentz is a big play. He has a big play mentality. Now, he may not make the big plays all the time, but he definitely has a big play mentality. And he's much more like Andrew Luck that way. And I think Phillip Rivers, especially at 39, understood, okay, I don't have to be a hero. And not that anyone wants Carson Wentz to try to be a hero, but Phillip Rivers actively embraced that and played in such a way. So, yeah, I don't know that I'm buying more stock in Nyheim Hines. I'm probably holding the stock that I have, just to use a stock market metaphor. I think we need to see how this goes. It's really hard to predict. And you're also dealing with a coaching staff that has made no bones about it. They are going to spread the ball around. So, is the usage of Nyheim Hines going to get is that going to go up? I don't know that I'm prepared to predict that. So when you couple that, who we're talking about from the coaching staff, and then you couple that with the type of quarterback we're dealing with, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it makes me wonder, and here's why. Because when I talk to him, I believe he has the feeling that it is going to be even more so. I mean, the threat that he is, the potential for production that he has is going to be more so. And I mean, even though you got a lot of guys that I think rightly so, place a question mark on, I mean, there was the possibility that these guys can play at a higher level, and that's going to have to ultimately pinch somebody's production, right? Offensively, if guys that you count on really start producing at a higher level even than expected, and you just kind of wonder how all that is ultimately going to play out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I think that this is a good thing, okay? This is a good problem to have because
no doubt
they do have a lot of guys capable of doing something with the football. I mean, they may not have – look, they don't have an Odell Beckham. They don't have an elite pass catcher. They don't, right? But that's – I think you can look at it two ways. But what they do have is a collection of good players, I think, all of whom you trust with the football in their hands. So that's important, and I think, I don't know that one offsets the other. I don't know. I think that's in the eye of the beholder.
I just think you could view Nyheim as the biggest offensive threat they could have. I mean, you can't because of his versatility.
He's a unique player.
Yeah.
He is a unique player. I'll say this. Listen, I will tell you that they understand their personnel. And the one thing I would say is that there have been times in the past couple of years where I don't know that they've utilized them enough. And then when they have, I've had questions about how they've utilized him. So I think if there's a plan in place, and Nyheim, may know something about that, if there's a plan in place to get him the ball more, I'm all for it. The only thing I'd say, like as I already outlined, is I don't know how you do it and continue to spread the ball around, the way they like to do. So I don't think anybody gets, sort of an outsized share of touches in this offense. They just don't. So I'm be interested to see how this goes. And if he gets less touches as a running back, I'm okay with that too. I mean, he's a good runner, but I think the big play potential with him is often in the passing game. So I'd like to see them come up with some creative ways to get him those opportunities.
Stephen Holder, The Athletic, talking Colts, counting down to Colts camp in the beginning there up in Westfield at Grand Park. I was talking to John Clayton a little bit earlier, and we were kind of discussing guys of name recognition that may have to play at a higher level to make a team, their current team, coming out of camp, and who some of those notable guys might be that are made by virtue of a cut available. And we both came to the conclusion that that you look at Zach Ertz and you kind of wonder, is Philadelphia still holding out hope that they can trade trade him somewhere? Are they going to cut him? And that got me thinking. You got Jack Doyle, Mo Alley Cox, and obviously Kylan Granson that they drafted. If he became available as a free agent, if he is cut, would the Colts, considering that relationship he's had in the past with Carson Wentz, have any interest in Zach Ertz moving forward this year?
I think a cut would be – I think if he's cut, that would be more ideal. Because then,
well, they're not trading for him. I think we understand that. Unless something unforeseen injury-wise happens, they won't do that.
Yeah, but not only because – and I'm trying to remember what his cap number is this year, but I actually don't think it's that low, you know. So my point is, that would be the only scenario, I think, because then you get them cheap. You get the maybe, I don't know, not veteran minimum necessarily, but, you know, there's not going to be a ton of cap space around the league available at that time, so the price is going to be low. There's no question about it. I think you look at it, they'll definitely look at it. I mean, Frank Reich.
It is $12 million. His cap number is $12 million.
That's what I thought. Yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. So that's just not doable. I mean, they don't have a lot of cap space. Okay, and they still got some deals they're working on here. So that's just not going to happen. But yeah, I think Frank Reich, if Zach Ertz were cut, you better believe he'll have a conversation about that. Now, whether it makes sense and whether they actually pull the trigger, that's a little less certain, I will say, because I think a couple of things. Number one, they already have the veteran there in Jack Doyle, who I think is not for long. Not because of his talent. I think Jack Doyle is looking to the future. I don't think Jack Doyle is going to be with us very long. You know, on the football team. We're not going to his funeral or anything. But my point is, I think they know they have two younger guys that can keep developing, Mo Alley Cox and the rookie Granson. But there's a little bit of duplication there in terms of, you know, having those two veteran presences with, you know, Ertz and Doyle. And I wonder what the impact on the younger guys is there. You know, does it stunt their growth a little bit, you know? And that's one of those things, again, good problem to have, right? You know, how much do you value developing young talent versus, you know, bringing in older guys who are just going to kind of get you through. So I don't know. That depends on the beholder, and I guess we'll see.
It's Stephen Holden with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. These are all things that we kind of just discussed, and I know that if you and I and others that cover this team were out at Westfield, we'd be talking about similar things. But the wait is going to be on. You got to hurry up and wait for Eric Fisher's return from injury to what is going to be expected starting at left tackle. For the time being, who's the front runner for that gig? Is it Tevy? Is it Davenport? And should anybody be considering Will Holden?
I think Will Holden deserves a look, and I think he will get a look. I think Tevy is probably the guy the guy they know the most about. So we'll see, you know, where they sort of set him, or, you know, where they insert him at the start of camp. You know, is he the guy that takes the first rep in training camp? You know, we'll see. I think there's a good chance of that. But I think Will Holden, the sample size is really, really small. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying that. You know, I don't know a lot about the guy other than really a couple of games I've seen. But what I did see, I liked. You know, and I think there's something there that they would want to explore more of. There's no question about that. So he's a wild card. He's definitely a wild card, and this is why they kind of felt like they could wait for Eric Fisher. They think between, you know, the 3 or 4 candidates they have at left tackle, the Colts feel like, okay, well, we can find one of those guys to rise to the top and get us through if Fisher has to miss time, which is, you know, certainly very possible.
Yeah, it's that to me is interesting because we rarely talk. We always just kind of talk about waiting, you know, on Eric Fisher, but who's going to be the front runner? And, you know, might you consider somebody that we saw start a game a year ago for the Colts there, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to play. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, we've been consumed in talking about how long is Fisher going to miss, but whether it's a week or 3 weeks or 4, somebody's got to play in his stead, and that schedule, okay, out the gate, let me tell you, you better have somebody competent playing there. So no question. That I think is a big variable for them early in the season. No question about it.
And also I brought this up because somebody nationally, I forget who it was off the top of my head, had mentioned to me that they kind of viewed Eric Fisher here as a stopgap until the Colts find something else after this year. And I think both you and I are on the same page. This is a guy that I think they hope that can recapture something that they can lean on for, at the very least, the short-term future, correct here? This is not described as stopgap with Fisher, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of things. Number one, I mean, I know Fisher would be fine with that. And number two, Chris Ballard has said it with his own mouth. So, I mean, it's not set in stone. I mean, the guy hasn't played a snap yet, right? But I think in a perfect world, if all things go according to plan, that's something they want to look at for sure. Now, here's something I wrote this before I went off on vacation, but they are getting into a realm of offensive line spending that is just almost insane. So I don't know how it's going to work. You know, that's the other thing. You know, there's what you want and what you can do, and then we'll have to see. Okay, we're going to have to see because it depends on how he plays, what his market value is. There's a whole lot of questions that got to be answered before we get to, you know, is Eric Fisher, you know, a re-signing candidate next year. But the bottom line there is, as I said, you know, you're going to be looking at extension for Braden Smith and extension for Quentin Nelson, which is going to be ridiculous in terms of his value. And then on top of that, if you add an Eric Fisher deal, man, I don't know. I think you have to be looking out for the rookie. You have to be trying to find a rookie or at least a young player there.
And they didn't like any of them this year. We were led to believe that they did, and they were plentiful. And then, you know, after the fact, they said we didn't like any of them, even though they were supposedly plentiful.
And that's fine. I mean, I think they also felt like the ones that they did like, they didn't feel like were true left tackle candidates. And that's a big issue too, right? If you think a guy is a right tackle and you sort of, you know, do the round hole in a square peg deal, then you're gonna have regrets, you know. So I think they did the right thing based on their evaluation. They'll be proven right or wrong in the long term in terms of the evaluation, but based on that evaluation, they did the right thing, you know, in my opinion. But I do think ideally, a rookie would work best there in terms of the financials. But you got to find the guy, and he's got to be available to you.
What's funny about this is, I mean, the expectation is 17 plus for Nelson, whatever Braden Smith gets. I mean, you already given big time money to Ryan Kelly, and then, I mean, your hope is that Eric Fisher does and is able to turn back the clock and recapture what he once was. And I mean, you look at the market at left tackle, and Trent Williams, I think, sits atop that right now at $23 million. This, by far, is going to be the most expensive offensive line in the history of the NFL. And that's going to be interesting to see how they're going to navigate the whole salary cap with that much money sunk into the O-line. And I guess we'll view it like this. If they win, we won't give a crap. And if they don't win, that is going to be one of the things I bet you we point to and go, hey, that is not the way this team should be built. I mean, all these things that are, I think, going to be festering down the road, provided things don't go right.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair game. It's totally fair game. I mean, if your team financially is you know, unevenly
then you say the same thing about skill position players. We'd say the same thing about wide receivers. People do all the time. That, you know, too expensive, too much money sunk in there. So
yeah, I mean, look, you got a handful of receivers out there right now making $22, $23 million. I mean, that's mind blowing, right, for a wide receiver in terms of the percentage of your salary cap. But you know, look, I think they feel they put a lot of value on what they're getting from this offensive line. And, you know, and I don't think we can really argue with that. The question is going to be, though, at what point, if and when this happens, at what point is the investment there, you know, now starting to impact the other spots, you know, at a point where it's not sustainable. And I don't know when they get there or if they get there, okay? But it's something that they have to talk about, no question.
Stephen Holder, all right, first day out there. We're approaching it right now, correct?
Yeah, a week from today. Yeah, a week from today. First practice. They report a week from today.
Incredible.
And they'll be out there on the field the next day, man. So it's here. Football is here.
All right, it's always a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed your vacation. We'll do it again soon. I'll see you up there, I'm sure.
All right, brother. See you soon.
Stephen Holder, The Athletic, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. We'll see how this goes. And listen, it all comes down to what you do, how you produce, the results you get. But you know that if it doesn't work out according to plan, the offensive line expenses will be one of the first things further down the road we'll talk about. It just will. And as I mentioned to him, it'd be the same thing if you had a lot of money spent, at the skill positions, a wide receiver, something like that. It'd be the same. But that is going to be worthy of watching. Rakestraw, the Professor, Stephen Holder, podcast 1075thefan.com, the Subway Party Deck, Kings of Leon 4-pack of tickets, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center coming at you before the top of the hour. Back with you next.
My name is Bill McQueen, and I own Perry Acoustics, a construction company here in the great state of Indiana. Each year, some construction companies misclassify their employees as independent contractors and illegally pay them cash under the table. That puts companies like mine that pay a good living wage and employee benefits at a major competitive disadvantage. These companies rob our state of over $400 million a year. Imagine what could be done for Hoosiers with that money.
Visit indianacip.com/tax fraud to learn how together we can tell them to stop stealing from Hoosiers.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo.
What is a no-charge appraisal? It's never asking for a credit card or charging for a home appraisal if we can't close your loan.
No risk on refinancing, but I live for danger.
With our rates at a low 2.25%, refinancing with Golden Oak is anything but risky business. Get started today at goldenoaklending.com.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.195% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
Hey, John here for Diamonds Direct, big diamond destination. Diamonds of all sizes, best selection of large, rare diamonds, bigger than ever, too. Hey, here's the one that I think about all the time is they're already the absolute best, right? Already the best prices, the best selection, warranties, guarantees, everything. But now you're just looking at something special, something perfect, something that needs to be perfect. We're talking diamonds and shapes. I mean, incredible selection, princess cuts, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, of course, the round diamonds, engagement rings, GI certified, and then some. One-stop shopping. It is unique because you don't have things like that everywhere. And you're going to find it right here in Indy. So for that perfect gift-giving idea that is a diamond, whether it's an engagement ring, an anniversary gift, or anything like that, it's one place and one place only. That's Diamonds Direct. Online, diamondsdirect.com for store hours and more. That's Diamonds Direct, Keystone at Crossing.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMS was our answer. HIMS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/love. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/love. That's forhims.com/love for your free online visit. forhims.com/LOVE.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Marshall Mechanical. Owner Eric Marshall pleads with you not to fall for the free furnace or air conditioning gimmick.
My family's been in the heating and air business for over 40 years, and I've never had anybody give me any free equipment that I can pass on to the customers, unfortunately. It's usually a sales ploy to get in the door, to upsell you on something else. At Marshall, honest people offer great equipment at very reasonable prices.
Go to callthemarshallnow.com. Marshall Mechanical is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. A cash-out refinance is just as easy as a normal refinance, but we don't stop there. We get you the cash you need to pay off those high-interest rate credit cards, get caught up on your bills, make those home improvement projects a reality, or even take the family on a vacation. How much money can you save? Let's find out now. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, let me tell you about a great idea if you're thinking about moving. You're thinking about downsizing your place or maybe even upgrading. No matter the situation, go with the best. And I know you've been told that the housing market is red hot, but it's only as hot as the person you deal with. And I'm going to give you the number and the details on the absolute best realtor out there. That's Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232. That's 317-755-4232. MarkDietel.com, MarkDietel.com today is the best for a variety of reasons, and certainly what you want in this entire process. You want promises, and you want guarantees, and you want delivery, and Mark will do that for you, including the promise. Multiple offers in 3 days, or he will sell it for free. Believe me, he's the best. I know him well, and if you're in the market to upgrade or downsize, this is the call you need to make, regardless of your situation. If you're going to move in the housing market, go with Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232. 317-755-4232. That's MarkDietel.com, MarkDietel.com today.
Message to Amy Spin Class. Happy 3rd, 29th birthday, Amy! Exclamation point. Ha ha. Balloon emoji. Balloon emoji. Balloon emoji.
You're good at voice to text.
Pizza emoji.
We're good at your insurance. Find an Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent online, over the phone, or in person. And stop knocking on wood.
At Bank of America, we're helping to meet the need for more affordable housing through community development banking.
I'm Andy Krask, president of Bank of America, Indianapolis. My teammates and I are deepening our commitment to help meet the affordable housing need. Here in Indianapolis, we're also collaborating with Habitat for Humanity to expand options for more people. What would you like the power to do?
Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Ride with JMV.
You're going to eat your fat.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Ray Straw, Clayton, Holder Podcast, 1075thefan.com. Shout out to Jarrett Lowmiller, who got those Fish 4-pack of tickets. Big thank you, JMV, for winning the tickets. I've been a long-time listener. Love the show. Thanks for all you do, and thanks for the tickets. Thank you, Jared, for listening and calling in for that. That's awesome. JMV at 1070thefan.com is the email address. JMV, I'm hoping here for a quick plug. I coached my daughter's basketball team for the first time at Our Lady of Grace in Noblesville. I was shocked to find out that they didn't even have basketballs to practice with, so I am getting a little more involved. The one event that funds all sports for the schools is the golf outing in Noblesville. Let me see what this golf outing is. The Our Lady of Grace Catholic School Annual Golf Outing. August the 28th. And you can sign up now. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will retweet this as a link, and anybody up there that would like to go and help out this cause, the 4th annual OLG Golf Outing, do so. And get some basketballs for the kids. Yeah, I thought the kid, Laney's got a Wilson Evolution. I got to get her a Wilson Evolution. Even if she's throwing up a ton of bricks. So, yeah, Greg Hunter. I'll send that out and tweet that for you. It's a very noble cause right there for sure. And you get me right there with girls basketball participation. Hey, JMV, this is my man, Get 'em Associates. Shout out. They're awesome listening to this show, listening to the JMV Takeover. If you've never seen Fish live, you are in for a treat. I have never seen Fish live. Never. But I'm going to give those Subway party deck passes away all week long just for you. So certainly have fun with it. Hey, by the way, too, I was talking to Heston a little bit earlier. My golf outing is coming up, too. I can start spreading the news for that. Coming up in October. I'll spread the news when I have it. I can't remember when it is exactly, but when I have it, I'll spread it. Just for you, I promise. That is pretty funny right there. Can't wait, though. All right, I tell you what, tomorrow's show is going to be big. We got the NBA Finals game number 6 later on tonight. We'll get a little bit of recap. I know you guys probably on the fringe of caring or maybe not caring about that. But it should be, if nothing else, incredibly interesting. Milwaukee can cash in, win that championship tonight. $65K on the outside. What, 18 plus on the inside? That is going to be an amazing scene in Milwaukee tonight. Nick Martin says, hey, man, I won tickets to Disturbed last year, and that concert got canceled. Any way I could get a replacement event? And I've been asked this a number of times, Nick, and I don't want you guys all getting pissed, but there's literally nothing I can do about any of these shows with tickets that you won that didn't happen. Literally nothing. And so, I mean, there are always, I guess, ways that we can try to help you with that, but I mean, I don't even think we got the tickets since it was canceled. I tell you what, Nick, I know you, and we'll see if we can find out something. It's not going to be anything nearly, I'm sure, like a Disturbed show for you, but that was just, you know, that was kind of the ass end of stuff a year ago as well, is when that stuff got canceled, it was just gone. At least from this standpoint. And I don't even know if they rescheduled anything. Yeah, we'll see if we can track down something for you. At least something, right? Anything? Something? I mean, a drink? But it's hard, man. It is hard. And believe me, Nick, you're not the first one to ask, and I do not blame you for asking. I would too. All right, quick break. Let me set you up coming up on tomorrow's show. And I do have more stuff to give away for you, including that Subway party deck. I get a 4-pack. You're going to be there. It's exclusive. The only way you're going to go is to win them right here. Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center, the 22nd. Kings of Leon is the show. We'll do that before the top of the hour. We'll set the stage for you coming up tomorrow. Steve in San Antonio. Did I hear you say a little while ago that you've got nothing better to do on Saturday night? We both know damn well there's a V-neck sweater in your closet waiting for you to put on and stroll into a dance club. I swear to you, Steve in San Antonio, because when it's on, I watch it. And here's why. And I don't know why we were talking about this the other day, but the greatest all-time doing it scenes in a film is probably Basic Instinct. I mean, that stuff is, it was on. And that was, Sharon Stone was state-of-the-art back, in 91, 92? But the best scene of the movie is when Douglas rolls into that dance club shirtless in a V-neck sweater. Let me say, that's the best. I'll tell you what, Douglas is cool. I mean, he pulls it all. He pulls it off in that, in Wall Street, Fatal Attraction. But, yeah, rolling into that dance club with a V-neck sweater with no undershirt is classic. Seems like that thing's on all the time, too. Man, Steve in San Antonio, that's outstanding. Great reference. Quick break. Back with you next.
Summer is here, so kids, tell your parents about the Forum Credit Union's Sprout of the Month contest, where you could win $100 in a Sprout account. Details at 1075thefan.com.
My crusade for the perfect pizza crust has led me here, pining over a backyard wood-fired oven. But how do I bake this build into my budget? Where can I get some solid guidance on my finances? Who can help me understand if I have the dough for this?
A little financial advice. At Regions, we know that's important because your Life Green checking account comes with Greenprint, financial planning with a banker who will help you create a personal budget and live in the moment. Make your appointment at regions.com/greenprint. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
John for PAI, it's WeGrowHairIndy.com, 888-724-5129. Get that real growing hair again with that private consultation with Darren Andrews. 888-724-5129. It is WeGrowHairIndy.com today.
Hi, we're OfferPad, the new way homes are sold. Go to OfferPad.com, tell us about your home, and we'll send you a great cash offer. Or, if that's not your style, we can also list your home with tons of free OfferPad services, free handyman fixes, house cleaning, yard work, and more to get your home show-ready. We can even advance renovation costs to maximize your home's value. Whatever way you want to sell, you're sold with OfferPad. Sell your way today at OfferPad.com. Terms and conditions apply. Real estate brokerage services provided by OfferPad Brokerage LLC. Equal housing opportunity.
Who is running your business anyway? You may ask yourself this sometimes as the owner of a business or partner in a practice group. Take your internet and phone service. You've pivoted to do more business virtually. But when dealing with the hiccups that come with that, your managed service provider puts the burden on you, saying,
check your gateway and firewall.
Frustrated, you say that's what you need them for. But what you get back is,
okay, put in a ticket and I'll get back to you next week.
Maybe it's time to get control.
This is Troy Barceau, owner of Teltech Business, specialist in premium internet and voice over IP. Local companies like Landman Beatty Lawyers and B&W Plumbing appreciate our quick, easy-to-understand customer care team. And you will too if you give us a try. With Teltech Business, there's no consultant double talk or call center runaround.
Take control and start saving today. Let local professionals help you with your business, internet, and VoIP needs. Call Teltech Business for a free review today at 317-390-8585.
Hey, John, LD Smith Plumbing, that's Lance and his local team at 317-284-9526. Anything as simple as what they do in incredible craftsmanship. They came in to replace a garbage disposal, which runs incredibly right now. Anything from that to emergencies. And believe me, I called Lance and his local team back in February, the coldest morning of the year, literally. No water at 7 a.m. Sunday morning, and I am just ready to freak out. But chill. 317-284-9526. I called Lance. His local team got out there, and we were back in with running water 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. It was amazing. I mean, right out on a Sunday morning. Those are the folks you can count on because plumbing situations, especially these emergencies, are not going to give you any advance notice. That's why you got to go with the local and the best. And that's Lance and LD Smith Plumbing, 317-284-9526, online, ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Your friends are hosting an online viewing party to watch the NBA playoffs. But if your slow upload speeds were to make you sound like an evil robot...
Come on, get the rebound.
Whoa, who is that?
I'm sorry.
You're not an evil robot. You just need better internet. AT&T Fiber delivers a faster internet experience with 25 times faster upload speeds than cable. Visit att.com/25 times faster.
Limited availability in select areas based on Internet 1000 wired upload connection speed versus major cable providers 1 gig service with uploads of 35 megabits per second. Restrictions apply.
BetMGM welcomes you to Showtime with a risk-free first bet up to $600. Simply sign up and use bonus code MGM600 and you're on your way to betting with the king of sportsbooks. Plus, with BetMGM's new one-game parlay feature, you can choose from hundreds of bet types and combinations within a single game to build a perfect parlay. All the action on all your favorite sports will be at your fingertips when you download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use bonus code MGM600 to make your first bet risk-free up to $600. Bet with confidence and turn game day into payday at BetMGM. New customer offer, paid and free bets. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older to wager. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
CareSource provides health benefits from the Healthy Indiana Plan, but we also want to do our share to create more healthy living conditions for our members most in need.
That's why we recently committed $5 million to affordable housing investments in Indiana to make a lasting difference in communities we serve. A healthy Indiana depends on more than just healthcare. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining health insurance.
Coming up Wednesday morning on the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe, we continue our countdown to the 10 most important Colts players for 2021. Stephen Holder stops by. That's Wednesday morning, 7 a.m.
The Ride with JMV.
You're going to eat your fat.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
And trackside tonight, NBA Finals Game 6. Closeout opportunity for the Bucks at home. 65K outside. Around 20K on the inside. Fiserv, is it Fiserv Center? Is that what it's called? Or Forum? Or whatever the hell it is. Thank you, Rakestraw, John Clayton, Stephen Holder, podcast 1075thefan.com. All right, Kings of Leon on the 22nd of August, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. This is their noted song, You Somebody. The Subway Party Deck is the place, the exclusive Subway Party Deck, where you can only be a part of that if you win these tickets right here. That's the only way. You can't buy them, you got to win them here. So this is an exclusive 40-person private reserve covered concert deck, private cash bar, exclusively for those on the Subway deck only, which is awesome. Subway, eat fresh. We'll be giving these away all week long. Oh, my man Litzy says the best in the world. I love the best in the world. We get Scott Foster tonight. Yeah. Is this true? Chris Paul with Scott Foster as a referee in his last 12 playoff games. How many do you think that Chris Paul has won in his last 12 with Scott Foster being the official? What do you think? Scott Foster is officiating today, one of the three. One of the three best in the world. In the last 12, Scott Foster officiated games in the postseason with Chris Paul involved. What is the record in the last 12 for Chris Paul?
Well, I saw this earlier, and it's not a good record for this if you're a Suns fan.
0-12. Which I'm sure is just an incredible coincidence because Scott Foster is indeed one of the best in the world. 0-12. Yeah, we shall see if he's 0 for 13 coming up later on tonight. That is outstanding work right there. Thank you, Litzy. Yeah, Bennett, we did the fish tickets. We did it for, the listener stuff here, so. JMV, when is the AM Signal's last day, the 10-7? I have no idea. No idea. I think maybe at the end of this month. I don't know. I am right there with you, my friends. And always will be. I appreciate you. JMV, if I could find a way to boost the FM signal would help out also down here in the OC. That's Owen County. I can't even get the FM. I have to listen to AM. I'm listening right now. I love the sweet AM. Hey, man, there's nothing that brings back the memories. And I know we're getting older and we're losing touch, but so be it. There is something that will always be special about that. When it comes to terms of talk or games, there is something very special about it. Something very special in the summertime of listening and hearing lightning strikes in the background, miles upon miles away. I mean, that's always pretty cool. And then plus, I mean, it's always something where you can hit a button and boom, there you are. I enjoyed a great deal, and I like you guys reminiscing. I don't mind that whatsoever. Yeah, I guess 0-12 with Scott Foster. You'd have to go ahead and give the nod to the Bucs coming up later on tonight. That's brutal. I mean brutal. Funny, but brutal.
So you taking Milwaukee?
I guess. You? Tonight?
I think the NBA knows about the 0-12, and I think the Suns win tonight.
I like that. I like that thought. The best in the world playing more of a role than just blowing the whistle is what you're saying there. All right. JMV, I remember the days when the Dome would be home games for the Dolphins, Browns, Cowboys, Bears, and Colts fans. Loved doing the wave. Matt and Avon, they did. They did. Hey, you guys have been outstanding today. Absolutely outstanding. We'll do it again. Shout out to Subway Eat Fresh for the Subway Party Deck tickets to both Fish and Kings of Leon. We'll reset that for you and give you another chance on tomorrow's show as well. Greg Rakestraw, John Clayton, Stephen Holder. Podcast for each. 1075thefan.com. Got Kevin Bowen and more coming up on tomorrow's show. That's a Wednesday. Kyle, great job, too. Tomorrow at 3. I'll talk to you then.
A reading from the Golden Oak